Hello. Okay, one of them is working. Okay. 1 second. All right, I think that it should be good now. I believe it is. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, the other mic, I just I restarted my computer and I had tweaked a few settings in OBS. For some reason the every now and again the mic input is fiddly. I have two of them. I have it set up so there's two. No shit. Hell yeah. That's what's up. My fucking sound effects worked. Hell yeah. Did you hear the Street Fighter? That shit is dope. I played both of them bitches. 1 second. So I think that's the first time I've heard it play all those or both of them at the same time. Yo, I don't know if you guys saw or if you guys have seen, but Tucker just dropped a fucking his interview with Thomas Massie like an hour ago. And I'm kind of not gonna lie, I'm interested. I kind of want to see it all of a sudden. Oh wow. I didn't realize I could stretch it out like that.
We like to think as Americans that we're all in this together, and big events like wars or economic booms or crises or natural disasters.
I just wanted to, check it out, see. It's 2.5 hours. We don't have time to watch the whole thing, but I just figured maybe pop in just to see what's cooking. I like Massie.
It, of course, was a history-changing disaster that we're still talking about. Books have been written about it ever since, more than 1,500 years. And for most people, it was really the end. It was the end of a civilization, the world's largest empire. But there were some people, you can imagine, on New Year's Eve 476, sitting around the table with their families, assessing the year that just went by. And they looked around the table and said, that was the best year we ever had. Of course, Germanic hordes are plundering the city of Rome, but for us, honestly, it was pretty great. And that's just the nature of it. Not anything inherently wrong with that. It's just a fact. You saw it during COVID. COVID was a massive disaster for most Americans, for most people in the West. Addiction rates went up, suicide rates, divorce. Kids didn't get educated for over a year. It destroyed a whole generation of young people, affected them badly anyway. On the other hand, if you were fortunate enough to have a second home, like a weekend house in a rural area that didn't
Like
have COVID restrictions or enforcement officers capable of enforcing them, it was pretty great.
Yeah,
if you lived in a traditional world, like say where your wife didn't work because she didn't have to because you made enough money, you could live a kind of 1950s family existence, and you had a coherent family and children who still liked you, sort of, and they were all home for months. It was like the best time you had in the last 20 years. People don't want to say that out loud, but that's real. And the Iran war is a little bit like that. It's an event that is affecting our lives right now, or certain to define our lives in important ways going forward, an event that's changing the world for all time, an event that people will write books about. And for most, it is a disaster, a true disaster, not just for the thousands who've already been killed, or the dozen countries that have been bombed, or for the hundreds of thousands of Britons in the UK who've dropped below the poverty line already, 2 months in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a disaster. But for some small, select group of people, it's been awesome. Let's check in with our old friend, hedge fund manager, Bill Ackman. This was him 2 days ago on CNBC. Here's how his war is going.
Iran has been, I think, a major funder of sort of anti-American protests and kind of otherwise. I think that war is a very good one. And
the war is a very good one.
Yeah, I think
it's very unpopular, though.
I don't know. I don't know surveys to trust. Look, I think most Republicans, many Republicans support the president, and it shouldn't be a bipartisan issue.
The Iran war is a very good one. Really, says the interviewer on CNBC. No, really, yeah, it's a very good one. Is it unpopular? I don't know about that. And the truth is, Bill Ackman probably doesn't know. He may not know anyone personally who thinks this is a disaster, because for Bill Ackman and his friends, the Epstein class, it's been a massive win. And that's been pretty obvious increasingly if you're following markets. So there's this phenomenon that people are starting to catch on to, where a certain news organization predicts serially, many times in a row over the past 20 or so days, an imminent peace agreement between Iran and the United States. Now, that agreement has not materialized. Apparently, we're not actually close to getting one. But at the moment when that's announced, every single time you've seen a massive move in global energy markets and an equity market, stock market, because people are betting that that will have direct effects on the value of stocks and or oil or other commodities.
Let me jump over to
And
Massie.
a little bit before that announcement.
That's kind of what I wanted to actually
my opponent.
watch.
It's interesting because you're not, I don't think of you as an opponent of Israel or a hater of Jews, an anti-Semite.
Ooh, he said his opponent.
They have been. Miriam Adelson is the gambling magnate who ironically makes money from the Chinese now gambling and not in Las Vegas.
And she's literally an Israeli.
Yeah, she was born there.
Yep.
She's given over $200 million to the president. He puts her on the stage. He says that she's influenced his own policy and attitudes toward Israel. And so she's trying to buy a congressional seat in Kentucky, along with the rest of these groups that are probably, by the way, getting her money as well. And there's also another interesting faction called Christians United for Israel. They're really just another wing of AIPAC and RJC that's been used to co-opt Christians into supporting their position. And their position is more war, it's more strife, it's more bombs, it's send more foreign aid. And those are the things that I've been voting against. So the real reason that this race is a serious race and I may lose is because a foreign lobby has fully funded, to the extent that they've never done in any Republican race ever before, my opponent.
It's interesting because you're not, I don't think of you as an opponent of Israel or a hater of Jews, an anti-Semite, a man with hate in his heart or anything. I don't think those topics have defined your terms in Congress so far, have they?
No, you can't go find even a xenophobic tweet or Facebook post from me in my entire life. I'm the least xenophobic. You know, I went to MIT, which is a real melting pot of different nationalities and races.
I didn't know he went to MIT. Good on him. I mean, he's a smart dude. He sounds cogent.
And ethnicities, and it was a meritocracy, and that's what I'm used to. Is just, you know, come to me with your ideas. I don't care what color your skin is or who your parents were, and let's talk about things. But it turns out that I've never voted for foreign aid, and in fact, I've
for Israel,
for Egypt, for Ukraine, for anybody. In fact, I've offered amendments as soon as I got to Congress in 2013. I had an amendment to defund the foreign aid to Egypt, which seemed like a good idea at the time because they were in the middle of a coup. This is how ridiculous our foreign aid is. We didn't even know who was going to control the Capitol. There were tanks in the streets, and we didn't know who the leader was. And my colleagues insisted on sending the billions of dollars to Egypt anyway. The question is, who's going to cash the check when it gets there? So I've got a complete track record of voting against all foreign aid. But it turns out there's one lobby that's very upset about that, and that's the Israeli lobby. And so you're right, this is a referendum. It's a referendum. The question we're putting to the people is, are you going to let a foreign country or lobbyists for that foreign country buy a seat in Kentucky and displace the one congressman who will tell you what's in the bills, who will explain his votes? I explain all of my votes, especially on controversial bills, on social media to where anybody can see.
So your position is that it's not your position as much as it's the fact you're willing to disclose what's actually happening behind the scenes.
Correct.
So to add evidence to that claim, the last time you were on this show was almost exactly 2 years ago. It was a little later in May, I think. You had just won your primary, 75%.
Yes.
And so you decided to come up here, and we have this amazing conversation, mostly about you and your life and the self-sufficiency with which you live and how you built your house. And it's an amazing story. We're going to repost that video soon because I want people to see it before the primary. But in the middle of that conversation, you said, yeah, there's this group called AIPAC, and here's how they go about corralling support in the Congress. And they have minders that follow you around, and I just don't hate Israel. I don't support foreign aid to anybody, and I don't have an AIPAC minder. And I remember thinking, boy, I've never heard anybody explain how this works in the way that you did. I felt like that conversation was a pivot point in your political life.
It was. And you know what's interesting? In the 2 years that have transpired since then, not one of my colleagues has said I'm wrong, right? Did anybody come out and say, oh, he's full of it? I don't have an AIPAC person that I go to dinner with every time they come to DC and back in the district. Nobody said that. They all have an AIPAC person. Now, some of them may not, know it's their AIPAC person, but they've all got an AIPAC person. And by the way, I have a lot of Jewish friends. And since that interview, they joke that they're secretly my AIPAC person, right? When in fact, they're not.
But it wasn't just that you voted against AIPAC's priorities, or some of them anyway, which you did, because there are people who have done that before, but you described and you opened to public view the process. You pulled the curtain back.
Correct.
And that was the crime.
Right. The crime is transparency. It's not obstructionism, because the votes they're most upset about me for were 420 to 1 or 421 to 1 or 410 to 5, right? Like, show me in any of those cases where my single vote out of, 435, if everybody had been present, was obstructionist. It wasn't. What happened, though, is people said, who's the one person that voted against that? And then they go to my social media and then they read the bill and they're like, what the hell? Why did my congressman vote for that? What are the other 420 smoking, right? And so, or what are they getting for that vote? Why did they take that vote? Why were they intimidated into taking that vote? And that's the problem that I'm causing this foreign lobby, is I'm causing people to ask questions for the first time. Who is my congressman's AIPAC person, for instance? How much money do they get from AIPAC? Why did they vote for that bill that bans passages in the New Testament, that infringement on the First Amendment?
Now, we care about supporting companies whose values align with ours. We do not want to shill for sleazy companies. It is better to give business to like-minded Americans than people who hate us. That's our rule. And that's one of the reasons we like Charity Mobile.
Are
When you
you
make the
on
switch to
Kick
Charity
or
Mobile,
YouTube?
the company sends 5% of your monthly price plan to
Gen Z,
pro-life,
what
pro-family.
the fuck? Oh, you're on.
Going out there and saying, you know, help me fight back. We've got to have some ads to run against these billionaires.
So what do you think the full money breakdown is? Without getting boring about it, I don't think people understand exactly how these campaigns are funded. So you can send money to someone running for office, but there are limits to how much you can send. You can send to something called a super PAC, and there are no limits at all. So it's hard to kind of figure out, isn't it? Exactly how much is being spent?
Yeah, I think it'll be after the race when people finally are able to compile the spreadsheets and look at the money. A lot of the donors won't be disclosed until July, the super PAC donors, because they're on a 6-month reporting cycle, whereas I have to disclose big donors every 2 days now once we get inside of a window with a campaign. But you got super PACs on each side. There's a super PAC helping me, not as large as the Israeli super PACs, of which there are 3. But there's a super PAC helping me. Now, as far as hard dollar campaign money from real people, I've raised over $5 million this election cycle, which is probably more than I've raised in the entire time that I've been in Congress.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I usually raise a couple $100,000, maybe $400,000 in election cycle. This time I've raised over $5 million. It's because this situation is dire. Now, the other side, you might say, okay, well, how much money has he raised for his campaign? He's raised about $1 or $1.2 million per quarter for 2 quarters. So he's maybe raised $2.5 million at most. But if you go look at where did that money come from? I think because of the show I did with you 2 years ago, AIPAC's sort of gone in hiding, and they're trying to secretly funnel money to campaigns. And what we've realized and deduced is that they're funneling money, hard dollars, not the super PAC dollars, but they're funneling money from their donors to his campaign through a payment vendor called Democracy Engine. It was started by one of the people who started Act Blue. It's not a conservative, if you will.
Act Blue, the Democratic bundler?
Yeah. So it's primarily a left-leaning payment vendor. I use a payment vendor called Anodot, and some people use WinRed. Probably you're familiar with that.
I am.
So when you see something come through a payment vendor called Democracy Engine, you particularly $50,000 per quarter. So if somebody's reported $50,000 of expenses to Democracy Engine, and if the payment vendor Democracy...
This is a bit dry. Maybe I should just wait for the clips to come. No, or I might touch on it a couple more times. You know, I've seen actually a pretty decent amount of videos and articles on and more so as time has gone on, but with gambling. And I remember when Polymarket and what is it, Kalshi? I remember when those first came out, when journalists, and you know what's funny? These people, maybe the people that I've seen complaining or talking about it, journalists, are they're not legacy media journalists or paid shills, because they were talking about it and saying it's not good. But I know how those started. You know who advertised for that Kalshi and Polymarket? These fucking journalists. They're the ones who got everybody hooked on this shit. Because I remember when they would include it in their videos and in their articles all the time. They just totally they totally forewent the polls. They don't do polls anymore. They want to they want to contribute to the addiction in America or the gambling. And please, guys, don't fucking spend your money on that shit. That is called, it's a tax for stupid people. That's what it is. It's a tax for stupid people. It's just like scratch offs and shit. Don't waste your money. You can't beat the house. There's countless, they have inside traders on Wall Street. They have the same thing on that Polymarket. And let me explain something to you as well, for those that don't realize it. Like, it's the same with the stock market. There are people out there, they sell short, they day trade, and any time a trade is made, money changes hand. Somebody just lost money. Somebody sold shares or anytime you make money, somebody lost money, basically. There's got to be a winner and a loser with every trade. But when you're dealing with this stuff, you got people that they have inside information. They have things rigged for themselves. Either you're the house where the game is automatically rigged against you, or you're a cheater, or you have an edge. You have some kind of an edge. You might be able to win there. But if you don't have either of those, if you're not the house and you don't have like a legit edge, like inside knowledge, don't waste your money on that stuff, man. Because first of all, the people that do have the edge, they can't make money unless suckers buy in. Okay? They need suckers to buy in. Otherwise, they would be cutting each other's throats. You don't do it. Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, that's why it's kind of become. It's kind of. It's not low key. You know, it's very. This gambling stuff is very in your face. And and also Party does that too. Party has the um, the streaming app because I have a page or a channel. Yeah, and there's all kinds of shit you can bet on. Yo, that shit is a trap, man. It's scratch offs. It's a tax for stupid people, and it's the same thing in the stock market or in uh blockchain or coins, Bitcoin and different. Maybe not Bitcoin, but blockchain. All these different coins, these meme coins where they rug pull people. Bro, that's what rug pulling is. You need suckers to buy in. It's literally Barnum and Bailey shit, P.T. Barnum stuff, sucker born every minute. That's what, there are, like, if you're not the guy with the edge or the house, you're the sucker, man. You are the sucker if you're not the dude with inside information or you're not the house. You're the fucking sucker, my dudes. Do not spend money on that shit, man. Yo, I'm telling you, man, it's a waste of damn money. And I did landscaping for a couple years, and I knew several guys that I knew a guy, one of the mechanics at the place I worked. This guy won 24 grand when I was there. This old dude, my cousin, motherfucker, won 10 grand in a scratch off. And there was another guy at the landscaping place, a black cat that was a foreman, and he must have made good money because I watched this dude routine every fucking week. This guy would drop like $500 on scratch offs. I am not joking, man. It's no joke, dude. It's no joke. It's the same as drugs. This shit ain't harmless. This stuff will get your ass, bro. People have lost houses. There's a reason why it was illegal. These are parasitic organizations leeching off of hardworking Americans, leeching off of hardworking people that actually earned their bread by the sweat of their own brow. And that's what they're doing there. If you earn your money, if you're, you get paid in wages, you go to a 9-to-5, bro, that you are the sucker. Don't ever think that you're in a position to win that stuff, man. And gambling, it's the same way. Now, there's some sport involved with like blackjack. Like I used to play $5 and $15 hands of blackjack at the Hard Rock at Tampa. I've been a couple times, and I never lost money either. I always quit after I'd win like $60, $100, and then I'd bounce, or I'd walk out. That only works with small sums. Like the more you play, it's stacked in their favor. The more you play, that's why they comp rooms. Everybody here's seen Casino. Okay, we know how it works. They got to keep you playing. It's the same thing with the poly market. We make small enough wages as it is. We're poor enough as it is. And that's just throwing your money away. You might win once, but they're going to win over the long arc. At the end, they're going to win. And how much money think about the amount of money you'll make in your lifetime. I watched them dudes at that landscaping place. I'm not even joking. These guys spent like 15 grand a year on that stuff. Like the one dude, he got 24 grand, but I've seen 100 different guys every Friday buying that stuff, and only a couple of them won anything. I mean, it's something, they win their money back here and there, but they always come up short. Always. If they don't get you, if you win up this week, you're bound to lose next week. It ain't like it's the lottery where you hit 150 million. Like, nah. And I've seen all the, I just assume it must be a big thing if everybody's talking about it. Because I've looked at it before, just kind of see how it works. It doesn't work, man. It's a scam. It's a fucking scam, dude. You know, it's not, and friendly wagers, like, that's, you know, that's different. Placing bets with your friends, or like my dad had a bookie for years that, you know, he would maybe bet on a few games every football season. I just can't help but notice the only people I ever saw buying scratch offs and lottery tickets and stuff were people that worked at, you know, landscaping companies, you know, groundsmen at tree services. Basically one step up from a heroin addict or a crackhead. I mean, that's not even kidding. It's just, and if, you know, if you need some place to put your money, you know, look into investing, or look into, use your money more wisely than that. Like, get a hobby or something, because that, it's just, you're paying money just for the thrill of that you might lose money. You know, it's not like you're learning anything. It's just, it's a lose-lose. But, you know, I have seen a lot of it, and a lot of, like, it's blowing up. All of a sudden, the Supreme Court makes, you know, you can bet on stuff. They legalize betting, sports betting, all kinds of betting, and then you get it on your phone. It's so easy with the one tap and the, you know, one tap paying and stuff on your phone. But it's a scam. Those parlays, they're scams, man. That's why, and I've heard about them, like, where they pop up. Oh, you know, if you like, they're like almost like they're special offers or something. Yeah, special offers to get robbed. Yeah, they are. They're not a good thing. It's an evil thing. These are evil. These are they're on par with these buy now, pay later. Uh, you know, this is usury. You know, this is like, it's evil shit. You know, preying on people like that, getting them into debt, and then indenturing them. It's basically what's happens. It's no good. Stay away from that shit. I mean, at least drugs, at least that addiction, you at least get the high. Fuck, you don't even get that with gambling or with this poly market horse shit. I mean, and what used to be old days with gambling, at least you went to fucking Las Vegas. You got to go somewhere. Now, you don't even get that. You get robbed from your living room couch, from the car, the driver's seat in your car. It's outrageous, to be honest. There's actually a lot of stuff. It seems like a lot of stuff has been going on lately, like this redistricting fight. I'm so glad that that the Supreme Court slapped that shit down. I'm just, and then it's pathetic seeing these loser ass liberals on X complaining about it, bitch. Oh, it's like when that law was still in effect. Oh, you're gerrymandering, and then they take away that law. You're gerrymandering. It's like, well, what the fuck, man? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, they've literally, that shit is like illegal. It was race based discriminate. I mean, it just pisses me off. Like, they shoved this bullshit. Everybody's blank slate. We're all the same. We're all born equal. And we are, and we're equal in the eyes of God, but we're not equal on earth. Nobody actually fucking believes that, man. We're not equal. We never will. No, we're never going to be equal. Not one of us is going to ever be equal to others. Never. That will never happen ever. Thank God that will never happen ever. You know, but like, oh, black people are just as good, you know, coloreds are just as good as white people. White people are just as good as black people. If that's the case, then black people shouldn't have a problem with having a white politician. You know, I have a colored politician right now, you know, and it is what it fucking is. I'm older than this dude by some years too. So, you know, if I have to fucking live with it, fuck them. They can live with it too. I'm glad. Like, bro, there's no reason that they should get their own carve outs where they get like a certain section of Congress. Fuck that. That's pound sand. Like, nah, that's bullshit. Even before civil rights, white people didn't have that kind of a fucking, like, nobody has ever gotten a privilege like that. Why did, like, that's bullshit. And it's just nice to see them pissed off. But I'm not even gonna lie, man. I swear I'm starting to feel a little bit beat down. Like I can't, like, suffocated almost, because I have to imbibe this shit. I can't just put my head down and fucking focus on something else. No, I have to focus on this shit. I'm not gonna lie. It's damn discouraging not being able to get away from it. Like, honestly, I love doing this, but it's like, fuck, man, I still haven't figured out the winning formula. Not gonna lie. Still haven't done it. Like, I've found the winning formula for streams. I love doing them, but like everything else, like, man, it's hard, man. You know, I mean, for small, you know, a small amount of money, but it's not even that. I'd be doing it for free. I was doing it for free for like 6 months. But honestly, it's just like shit, man. I just start getting dejected. It's kind of how I felt today. Fucking dejected. Like, it's overwhelming, you know? It just feels like all these different things coming in. And then some days you get hit with like a bunch of bad news all at once, and everything looks particularly bleak. That shit sucks, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got to figure out something, you know, somehow how to deal with it. But so far, I have to suck it up, I suppose. So I kind of get what what he means. He talks about it. What's wrong with making purple districts, Mackenzie? Why would that be? Like, I don't see how that would be fucking. I think that's fair. I think that's how it should be. If it makes purple districts, so fucking be it. You know, I have no problem with having black politicians. Absolutely no problem. If they win on merit, if they win on their own merit, fucking A. Dude, hell yes. I have no qualms with that. But to have that shit, have them singled out for privileges in the law, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. I can handle it when the guys won the shit fair and square, but having it shoved down my throat, I'm just not up for that shit. I'm tired of this authoritarian bullshit. Like, I'm tired of people leading us around like by the nose. We don't actually get to decide anything. I seen on X, these motherfuckers talking about these data centers and AI. They ain't asking. They're fucking telling us how the future's gonna be. We don't have a choice. They're not asking. They're like, yeah, we're investing in AI, bitch. Hope you like it. Hey, yeah, you're gonna have a data center, loud ass, shitty ass data center near your house. Hope you like it. And if you step out, if you step out of line and you say something, they try to smear you. And, oh, you're a fucking moron. You know, our entire economy's based on AI and shit. And that's my point. Is that's awful. That means we're not going to be doing so good one day. You know, it's a bubble basically. Like with this AI, really, all they've shown us is that they can turn a picture into a video. You can upload a picture and it will make it move. That's the utility of AI so far. Maybe a little vibe coding, supposedly, but and they make it seem like it's like the fucking car, the airplane or something. Are you like, no, that's not it at all. But they're not asking, they're telling us. And it's this more of this fugazi bullshit that we've been getting fed for years now. And you know something, we have done nothing but decline since they sold our jobs to China. Since they sold us out in the 90s, it has been a steady and a regular decline, a regular rate of decline. We've just been eating shit for almost 2 decades now. And they're trying to get us to eat more and like it too. And say, thank you, sir, may I have another? You know, and like, and I you know, question some of these guys posting on X. I'll say something. They don't even try to make an argument for it. They just call me, they'll call you a moron. And then, I mean, that's the extent of their argument. And then it's just any reply after that is just a variation of calling you a moron. And it's like, bro, I was led to believe this is a fucking democracy where we decided the direction we go in, and we decided like what was going to happen to us. And I could show you a video right now of people pissed off about these data centers, and they're being told they don't really have a choice. They get to yell and scream and filibuster at a meeting, but that's really about all you get. And so, do we have a democracy? Not so as I can see it. Not so as I can see it, man. We don't get to decide what direction I mean, it's just, bro, they're taking us off the edge of a cliff, man. And we have to sit still and and pretend we like it too. We have to slowly watch our savings become fucking monopoly money. While they sell it, they dilute it, devalue it, destroy our prestige around the world, destroy the petrodollar, and we gotta fucking like it too. This is the problem here. And it's like, I just have to sit still and fucking grimace, like try to eke a smile out on my face, because there's literally nothing I can do. Like, bro, I don't like seeing all the bad shit coming, and nobody else sees it. So what's the point of me seeing it? I just get to enjoy the fucking anxiety and the fucking build up for the crash. I mean, it's just, and there's no place I can go. China, they're not like America where they just, you know, if you want to be a Chinaman, you can come right on in. Nah, there ain't no other place. Oh, only my fucking country thinks we got it like that. Only my country, my fucking luck, like the worst era. I hate to complain, but it's just been like knocking my head off lately. I swear, I feel like I can't get away from the shit, man. Look at this shit. Look at this. This shit cracked me up. No. And then what I really like about it, maybe you guys can't see it. Hang on. There we go. There we go. There it is. What I really like about this one is that it says "or dogs" at the end. So it's like including them in this. They have the same sign with dogs. No dogs allowed. Oh, and also these other equal beings that I consider on the same par as dogs. God damn it, I love that shit. That is so good, man. That is so rich. It's so good. I do vote. Doesn't do any good. I still vote regardless, but tell me that shit is not great, guys. Like, it just cracks me up. Somebody's like raising hell about this on X. I'm like, bro, what's the big deal? Freedom of association, you fucking cocksucker. I don't have to hang out with people I don't want to hang out with. Okay, and that was the parlance of that time. That is what they were called. You see how they spelled Puerto Rican? Oh man, that shit's cracking me up. Puerto Rican. Nah, stay your ass out of here. Back in Texas. It's a great country. It really was. Oh man, that shit cracked me up. That I wonder why that one's plural. That and dogs are plural. Oh man, that cracks me up. You know, this is a pretty good graph here. I saw this earlier, Musk. Functional system, dysfunctional system, and time. Yeah, unkind truths lead to getting better and moving forward with progress. No, this is what we do. We do these kind lies. Oh, you're not mentally insane. You have some anger issues. You just need to go to anger management. You know, you haven't brutally murdered anybody, so we'll just send you to anger management. You know, rest in peace, Irina Zaritska. Like that's what this shit is. It should be unkind lies because you're not doing anybody a disservice by lying to their fucking face. There's a reason why Jesus said the truth shall set you free. There is a reason why he said that. With the unkind lies, down that path lies damnation. That's a fact. This is the path that we've taken since the 90s, maybe since the 60s. Just kind lies. Yep, and right into a cesspit, right into a cesspool. That's what that is. Kind lie, or kind lies. Bullshit, man. Like you're not doing anybody a disservice. There's a reason why science. That's how science used to work. You know, the academic rigor where people would strength test your theories, make sure that they're not paper thin, that they hold water. That's why we have trials and shit, you know, like criminal trials to strength test somebody's alibis. I mean, that you don't get any better without criticism, without that's the whole point of feedback. But we don't do feedback in America anymore, you see. We might hurt a female journalist's feelings, don't you know? Wouldn't want to do that. You know? Wouldn't want to do that. Question their motives. Maybe they're lying, but you'd never fucking know because we're not allowed to question people. We're not allowed to question news, nothing. Fucking tired of it, man. I'm damn tired of it. Now, this shit was maybe I should try to find it on X. The Katie Porter thing. My goodness, that lady is a psycho. It's kind of disgusting, not gonna lie. She's like, basically, she's isn't she like the archetype? Her picture is under it's in the definition of the word Karen, basically. It's incredible. Oh, I didn't see this yet.
3 kids. I know what it's like to push the shopping cart. My minivan has almost 200,000. I'm
Apparently
Katie
she
Porter,
pokes fun
and
at
I'm
herself.
not like most people who run for governor. I actually get what you're going through. A single mom of 3 kids, I know what it's like to push the shopping cart. My minivan has almost 200,000 miles. I have a grown kid.
My minivan has almost 200,000 miles. Okay. The fuck is that supposed to be? I bet she doesn't even refill the gas. It's horseshit. She's not a regular everyday person.
I wouldn't be living on my couch. To give Californians what they need, it's
No,
gonna take...
she would not rather be on her couch. This is like an extremely bitchy, ambitious bitch. Like the way she treats, this is just not a good person. She's like the epitome of toxic femininity. Like the way she treats subordinates and stuff. She treats her subordinates like, you know, a guy with a little dick would treat his subordinates. It's just very, what I mean by that is it's very beta and it's very cuckish, I feel like, you know, like, and that's why a guy who like beat up on his maids and his servants, you know, that like it's very off-putting to everybody, to society. Like, it's just, you're kind of a pathetic example of a pathetic excuse for a human being. That's kind of, I put her on that par. Like, who punches down the people they fucking employ?
Standing up to Donald Trump, calling out greedy corporations, and stepping on some toes along the way. Now, could you guys please get out of my shot?
What does?
I'm Katie Porter, and I'm not like most people who run for governor.
Get out of my shot.
I actually get what
But what's crazy is, like, in this debate,
30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name-calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
oh,
You were actually interrupting them too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Oh, cowboy.
Steve and I.
Oh,
Steve and
oh,
I
I see. I
can't
see.
believe-
That's how it goes. Oh, everybody sympathize with me. All these guys, they've been interrupting, and they're assertive, and they're meanies. I believe you were doing it the exact same amount, and you were doing it just like everybody else. Oh, cowboy up, sock up, man up. Why don't you man up? Really? Like, do you not hear yourself? Do you not hear yourself, sweetheart? Because you sound like a fucking psycho. Like, the gall, this lady's literally saying, sympathize with me, all these guys, these bullying males. And then when they call her to put her feet to the fire, cowboy, man up. How dare you, man up? I'm just a little old lady. Oh, really? It's not how you carry yourself. Will you get the fuck out of my shot? It's just gross, this lady. And it's paper thin. She's smart.
For pollution and other problems.
Like,
And the state
you can
could
tell
lose
she's not a stupid person.
pollution and other problems.
But
And the state could
she also seems like she doesn't really, she's kind of an airhead. Just like in the moment, she just says dumb stuff, it seems like.
for pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate.
Look how this.
Okay, it does. Okay, for pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
Just blows my mind though, and like she's like trying to play the female sympathy card. Like, man, we can see you and hear you. You know this, right? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of
Congresswoman Porter.
odd.
Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's been projected.
It'll cost another $30 billion to finish California high-speed rail from Merced to Bakersfield. We've got the viaduct laid. We have overpasses. Do you finish it? Yes or no? Mayor Villaraigosa.
Yes.
Congresswoman Porter.
Yes, if you can build it faster and cheaper than it's been projected.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding
Listen to this
for
shit.
undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Yes, and
And that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions, Alex.
and for critics who say that we can't afford it, what do you, Congresswoman?
You know what she said?
Cost.
Why she said they should have it? Because these illegals are getting us sick. We can't afford to let them go without health care. Really? Because, you know, there's another way to solve that problem, right? You know that, right? It is possible for you to kill two birds with one stone, right? You know this, right? No. It's like, instead of taking our money to remove the problem, they take our money to fund the problem. What the fuck, man? Like, seriously, you're going to invite people from all over the world and then tax us to death to pay for their fucking health care? Man, bro, this is wild shit, man. This is wild. Like, man, the future does not look bright for America. I can tell you that much right now. Really just doesn't.
California's economy has been growing in the last few years is through illegal immigration. And I just don't think that's the right way for us to be growing. I think we need to help small businesses create jobs and opportunity, and for Californians to be able to earn more and live the California dream. And for entrepreneurs to want to start businesses in California. That's how we should be growing our economy, not by illegal immigration.
They've been doing this stupid illegal. Oh, you know, if we bring in more people from around the world, graph go up. Graph go up. More people, graph go up. God, man. Okay, it goes up in the short term because and not for real, like you're just like artificially doing that. Okay, it goes up in the short term, but then in the long run, we're swamped with incompetence, swamped with incompetence, just put it that way. And we got to pay for it. We got to pay for people that are, all the people that are stealing from us, okay, the Somalians, just use them as an example. Not only do they want to pay the Somalians, who, and they're here illegally at least. They're stealing and shit, but they are here legally. But they also want to pay the motherfuckers who we don't even know are. It's just like, golly, man. Do we like have this? It just blows my mind. How do we have this much of a death wish? Like how is this death wish we have? I'm not getting it. It makes no fucking sense to me. What are people thinking? You know, and I think what, a third of our economy is healthcare in this country, and the number one job industry in California is healthcare. You know, those are, a lot of that shit isn't real. A lot of it is graft. A lot of it is the equivalent of Somalians in California that are doing that. That's why California tries to keep the federal government out of there at all. You know, it's like they have to. They'll do anything, you know, at all costs, to keep the federal government out of there because of all the stealing, of all the illegal shit going on there. I mean, they may as well be another country. They don't abide by anything federal. I mean, unless there's a Democrat president in. If there was a Democrat president in and he decided to do like Obama to do pursue immigration policy, they would totally let ICE go into their fucking jails. You know, like they will fuck us sideways. They will fuck us blind as long as it comes from their party. They got no problem fucking us sideways and every day of the week, twice on Sunday. But as soon as somebody else is in there, they won't play ball at all. It's like they fuck us one way and then they fuck us with the flip side of that coin when they're not in power. It really bothers me. They do the whole progressive Democrat fucking graft and fraud, self-dealing, politicians giving huge contracts to their buddies, NGOs and shit. Like that's the whole Democrat, like it's this huge blob, and they've just built up all of these, like the USAID. There's the same thing. You know, they have been parasitizing these institutions, you know, filling them with all of their fellow travelers, filling them with their buddies, with their comrades, whatever you want to call it, people that they're self-dealing and dealing to their friends. Oh, we have a government contract, and that's why they staff all these NGOs, all these. So like the homeless crisis in California, that money, it fucking evaporated. It evaporated. And homeless is worse. Homeless is worse. Where did that money go? It went into NGOs, but we know where it went. It went to their buddies who started those NGOs so that they could funnel billions of dollars into them. So you have that on one side, that's the Democrats. And then you have the Republicans on the other side. They come in and try to do something about what the Democrats are doing, and the Democrats fight it. People get killed, but they fight it tooth and nail. They're willing to sacrifice American citizens if need be. They'll stir up riots. They would burn this entire country to the ground if need be. If they thought that they would get somewhere politically, they would burn it all down. They would do what Israel's doing, basically, only to us, though. And the Republicans, they try to do something, but they're in lockstep, honestly. The Republicans, they don't actually try to do anything. But what they do is they're on the same, they're in cahoots. They're on the same team. They good cop, bad cop us. The Democrats set up all the corruption and the graft. And the Republicans, I'm sure they have a stake. These people are in cahoots. You're a fool if you think they don't eat dinner with each other and talk after the cameras are off every day. These people, they're all on the same team. And when the Democrats do all their corrupt shit, of course, they have to let the Republicans wet their beak. Otherwise, why would the Republicans keep their mouth shut? And then when the Republicans, when they do it, they do the same thing. They let the Democrats wet their beak. Everybody's back gets scratched, in other words. But on our dime. That's what the deal is here. And that's basically the whole argument against public health care, the whole argument against Medicaid, against Medicare, against EBT. That is the argument. Because anytime you set up these institutions, they are perfect fucking examples of perfect funnels. They're perfect cash funnels. They're perfect public dollar funnels. It's beautiful because they funnel it to the NGOs, they funnel it to these institutions, and then it disappears like a fart in the wind. It gets squirreled away. And every year, more gets squirreled away. Bet your ass they spent more money this year than they did last year. They spent more money last year than the year before. Every single year, they spend more of our money. We don't get more we don't get more. Matter of fact, we get less. But nonetheless, every year they take more and you get back less. That was the original argument against big government. Well, we got the big government now, and we're literally crashing and burning. Your precious fucking social welfare programs are no fucking good. Like they're even saying, like this next unemployment, this next wave of unemployment that's coming with AI and shit, they know for a fact that our unemployment insurance system it's going to be so overwhelmed. It's not even close to what's going to be necessary. It's a fucking joke, man. And that's the whole idea of Social Security and the government taking care of you is a fucking joke. It is a farce, man. It's nothing more than an excuse to part you from your money. That's what it is, man. It's a fucking excuse to take your money. And everybody that's above average has known this since these ideas were hatched, since these schemes were hatched. Nobody actually thought these things were going to work. Nobody did. And they don't really. I mean, if you're living off Social Security, you got a rough ass life. A rough ass life. And we'll be the first. All the generations that came before us, more or less, they were in the American imperial age. They were able to steal and loot and pillage enough of the planet to stack up their bank accounts, their retirement accounts. So nobody really ever needed Social Security, really. Well, And so it wasn't a big deal. They could take their little teeny little bullshit couple $100 a month. They could do it. But we didn't grow up in any such imperial age or any such age of prosperity or golden age. We're probably not gonna have a dime. We're not gonna have a fucking any assets, pot to piss in, nor window to throw it out of. And all of a sudden, it's going to become glaringly obvious that these things were a joke and they've literally stolen billions, trillions of dollars from us. Trillions on trillions on. They borrowed trillions and trillions of dollars. Like, man, they can't steal from us fast enough. They're borrowing money, because they know they can't. Oh, we can't raise taxes because then people would complain. Oh, this is what we'll do. We'll borrow the money. We'll steal from their future self. That way, they won't even realize they've been stolen from until we're gone, until it's too fucking late and the money's already gone. All the value sucked out of our country. I mean, that's the scam. And we've just been paying trillions of dollars for this fucking bullshit, fugazi, fucking total figment of our imaginations. Fucking Ponzi schemes. It's a fucking joke, man. It's a damn shame. And we fucking, we went and, there's only so many people that understood this. And it's sometimes people just ain't going to listen to your argument. People don't want to fucking hear it. They don't want to hear the truth. And, eventually people bitch and moan and cry and yell and scream and fucking protest and beg and plead. They get down on their knees. Eventually they do that enough. And, because people that want something, people that are fucking begging for handouts, those people are never going to stop begging for handouts. And the people that argue against those handouts, they have fucking jobs and lives and better shit to do than spend all their fucking time focused on handouts from the government. So inevitably, the women and the fucking retards, they win. They win the argument. And so we're just inevitably on this fucking downhill decline. Basically, it's just like the speed. We're just like tinkering with the motherfucking, the speed knob. How fast do we want to decline? Do we want to fucking collapse really quick, or are we going to stretch it out for a little while? Yeah, this Deborah So chick, she was on Bill. Remember, I did the bit of the stream on her. She was on Club Random, which is weird. She was doing the podcast circuit months ago. Here we go.
Gen Z men are
My
losers.
boy, Lungs of Faith. What?
These Gen Z kids are just lazy.
And this notion that you as a Gen Z male are facing these obstacles that no other human has faced for all of human history. Read a book for one.
So actually, Gen Z men are having a hard time, and the data shows they didn't create it. They're disconnecting from work, school, dating, and society altogether, but at the heart of it, from their identity. And yet they're being blamed for all of it. But why is this happening? In this video, we're exploring the data.
Your Gen Z men are losers.
Weak little loser incels.
These Gen Z kids are just lazy.
And this notion that you as a Gen Z male are facing these obstacles that no other human has faced for all of human history. Read a book for one.
So actually, Gen Z men are having a hard time, and the data shows they didn't create it. They're disconnecting from work, school, dating, and society altogether, but at the heart of it, from their identity. And yet they're being blamed for all of it. But why is this happening? In this video, we're exploring the data, the incentives, and the institutions behind this to find out exactly how Gen Z men have become so fragmented, why it's only getting worse, and what you can do about it before it's too late to turn back. Because once you see what they want to do with you, the spell breaks. One thing is clear. This is a crisis, and this is the most important video I've ever made on this channel. This is why. The truth is that while women are radically more progressive than men, men are not doing well either, just for very different reasons. There are nearly 7 million men in America's prime working years who are neither working nor even looking for work. They've simply vanished. But what are they doing? Are they all suddenly crypto millionaires? Well, they aren't in school either. In fall 2021, men made up only 42% of undergraduates. From 2010 to 2021, male undergraduate enrollment fell nearly 20% from 7.8 million to 6.5. NCES also reported that in 2022, only 57% of male high school completers immediately enrolled in college, compared to almost 70% of women. Well, maybe they're out there chasing girls or having families. Nope. Pew reports that 47% of adults under 30 are single, and young men are are almost twice as likely to be single than young women.
A woman with a college degree isn't interested in marrying a man without a college degree. Marriage has become a luxury item.
Pew also found that a quarter of U.S. 40-year-olds had never married as of 2021, up from 6% in 1980. And in 2023, men accounted for nearly 80% of unalivings in the United States. We might want to ignore it, but this is the state that most men find themselves in. But if he isn't in the workforce and he's not in school or getting married, and we only seem to notice him when he becomes a tragic statistic, then where is he?
It is a dark truth that shows the unfairness of the world.
It turns out he's looking for an identity, because getting a job, getting an education, and building a family all assume that you already know what you are living for. Why work if you have nothing to work towards? Why learn if it serves no purpose? Why marry if life itself feels meaningless? These are the questions that modern men are asking, and that has led to the rise of subcultures. I mean, why do we have so many of them? Literally millions, fragmented into tiny, self-sustaining echo chamber worlds. Little identity tribes, each one offering its own version of meaning, discipline, purpose, status, and even brotherhood. You have streaming and gaming culture where grown men spend thousands of hours grinding ranks, buying skins, following streamers, and pouring themselves into virtual worlds they will never actually build. You have sports betting culture where a 2026 Siena survey found that 52% of men aged 18 to 49 have an active online sportsbook account, and almost 50% of men in that same age range are actual bettors. You have car culture where a man's identity becomes whatever he drives, how loud it is, how fast it goes, and how many mods he can afford to bolt onto it. You have finance and hustle culture where young men are taught that their worth is measured by income, leverage, status, and the ability to monetize every last part of their lives. You have tech and science culture, porn culture, red pill culture, meme and irony culture, mountain crunchy nature people culture, biohacking culture, collector culture, bodybuilder influencer culture, political tribalism, trad masculinity culture, prepper culture, dopamine and travel culture. The truth is that never before the rise of subculture. I mean, why do we have...
Why was that going so fast? Like, it was only at 1.5, but it sounded like it was like fucking like double speed.
Have so many of them, literally millions, fragmented into tiny, self-sustaining echo chamber worlds. Little identity tribes, each one offering its own version of meaning, discipline, purpose, status, and even brotherhood. You have streaming and gaming culture where grown men spend thousands of hours grinding ranks, buying skins, following streamers, and pouring themselves into virtual worlds they will never actually build. You have sports betting culture where a 2026 Siena survey found that 52% of men aged 18 to 49 have an active online sportsbook account, and almost 50% of men in that same age range are actual bettors. You have car culture where a man's identity becomes whatever he drives, how loud it is, how fast it goes, and how many mods he can afford to bolt onto it. You have finance and hustle culture where young men are taught that their worth is measured by income, leverage, status, and the ability to monetize every last part of their lives. You have tech and science culture, porn culture, red pill culture, meme and irony culture, mountain crunchy nature people culture, biohacking culture, collector culture, bodybuilder influencer culture, political tribalism, trad masculinity culture, prepper culture, dopamine and travel culture. The truth is that never before in history has society been so fractured into tiny, isolated subcultures built around hyper-specific interests that rarely meaningfully interact with each other. But out of all of these growing subcultures, two are now rising above the rest.
We use crystal methamphetamine as a stimulant and to lean max.
The first is Looksmaxxing. On the surface, it might just look innocent, but it's not just gym culture, it's not just fashion, it's not just skincare.
I'm getting jaw surgery soon. They basically make a cut, the lower jaw, and then move it forward and apply screws. How much is that gonna cost? $35,000.
I'm absolutely gone.
Right now, Pentasag is Adderall, DXM,
what's up with the Burger King hat?
BDO, and Pregab.
It's an entire worldview built on the idea that a man's value is determined by his face, his frame, his symmetry, and his ability to optimize himself through whatever means necessary.
And it teaches and reinforces something called the black pill, which is the belief that looks determine how you are treated in the world.
And it's no longer fringe.
So
one of the biggest Looksmaxxing hubs, Looksmaxx.org.
Like, something that I'll never get is like, you know, even if everybody on the planet hated my fucking guts and didn't even want to talk to me or shamed me, like, I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, oh my goodness, my life, like, I am just totally unmoored to that whole thing. I could give two fucking shits. And I just don't get why, like, what, man, you like doing all this crazy shit for attention, like hitting yourself with hammers and shit. Like, I just don't get it. It's not fulfilling. Well, it's not for me anyway. Like, being liked, I mean, it kind of is, sort of, but not really. Like, it, I don't know. I guess I'm just different. I don't know. I just never could see what was so great about it.
Drew about 4 million visits in March 2026 alone, with about 1.25 million from the US. Another Looksmaxxing site pulled almost 500,000 visits in the same month, up 31% from February. GQ reports that Looksmaxxing has exploded from old incel-adjacent forums into mainstream TikTok culture to the point that the PSL rating system is now all the teenagers are referencing. Clavicular, now one of the most famous faces of Looksmaxxing, promotes bone smashing, literally hitting your face with a hammer hammer to try to reshape the jaw and cheekbones.
You know, like bone smashing.
So you do it here, and just to get like the cheekbone more prominent.
Yeah, so I'll like lay in my bed and punch myself in the face.
Says he began ordering testosterone and fat dissolvers online at 14 years old, claiming he may be infertile from years of steroid abuse, and uses methamphetamine to suppress his appetite. He had nearly
Like, just so matter of factly, yeah, I might be sterile. You know, I went pretty hard on the roids back in the day. Like, bro, for real. That's crazy, man. That's so fucking crazy. I'm like the opposite. I went out of my way to avoid anything that might interfere with my like growth and shit. Like, I didn't lift weights before I had hit puberty. Like, no way. I wouldn't even get into like hot tubs because you know, too high of a temperature can fry your satchel, man.
180,000 Kick followers, more than 760 TikTok followers, and earned more than $100,000 from Kick in 1 month. Now, all of these things are eerily similar to some of the values that modern transhumanist thinkers like Peter Thiel are pushing.
Do you know who Peter Thiel is? Peter Thiel, yeah. He's a billionaire that owns Palantir. I got invited to a Peter Thiel party. You think that's going to be a Diddy party? Probably.
But we'll get to that in a little bit. But at the same time, a counterforce is rising. Christianity. Gallup's new data shows that 42% of young men ages 18 to 29 say that religion is now very important in their lives, almost double from just a few years ago, and 40% of young men now attend religious services monthly or more, with 20,000 brand new converts to Orthodox Christianity this past Easter.
Since COVID, since 2020, they've just come out in droves. He's accelerating. Snowball. We do respect men in a way that a lot of other churches don't.
The golden question is, though, who is going to win man's identity? But in order to understand all of this and where it's heading, we really need to understand where this all started. Because men didn't just wake up one day and forget what they are. For most of human history, a man's identity was not something he had to invent. It was embedded in reality itself. You worked with your hands, you lived near your family, you were known by your community, and you were measured against something real, tangible. Then everything began to shift. Industrialization was the first fracture. For thousands of years, a man's work was tangible. A farmer, a craftsman, a builder, you could see the result of your labor. It reflected you. It disciplined you. It tied you to a place and a people. But with the rise of the industrial system, that all changed. Work.
You know, I think I said this yesterday. Any arguments, any counter arguments against me that are based in, but the economy, they don't cut any ice with me anymore. I don't give a fuck about the economy anymore. The economy is here. We have an economy, really what an economy is. Every time you buy something, every time you sell something, that is the economy. The economy is basically happens as you're exchanging money. When you hand somebody cash, metaphorically, that's the economy. It's the act of you handing cash or somebody handing you cash. That's all it is. Every time money changes hands. It's not a fucking building. It's not a place. It's not an institution. It's literally just people buying and selling shit. Well, the whole idea of modern finances is that the economy works for us. Oh, shit, I didn't realize my face wasn't on there. The economy works for us. Not the other way around. We don't work for the economy. When you say, but you know, you do realize that it's for the, what you're saying to me is, suck it up. It's so we have a good economy. Suck it up. Quit bitching about how it's made your life worse. It's worth it. We're getting paid for it. Nah, go fuck yourself. That doesn't cut no fucking ice with me anymore at all. Because you know something? I would gladly live on the amount of money I'm living on right now for the rest of my fucking life if it meant that all these fucking colored people and my country was back, it was how it was in the 90s. I would gladly take a serious cut in living standard. Like, cause so the economy thing, that's like a moot point off rip. But the whole idea of an economy, it's supposed to serve the people. The people are not supposed to serve the economy. The economy, the whole idea of it is so that we benefit from it. But because these rich people that actually make them, make the profit from the economy, and they have all their money tied up in the economy, they're making, trades and bets on shit and the business stuff. They can't allow the economy to be where it naturally should be. Graph go up. That's it. It's that simple. Graph go up. They know nothing else. That is their fucking, they live, eat, breathe, and sleep. Graph go up. That's all they care about. That's their job, is to care about that. That's their life, is to care about that. They'll fucking sacrifice their own kids on a fucking altar so graph go up. That's a fact too. They will. They do it all the time. Bringing people into our country that butcher our fucking kids and so they can't let it go down, or they lose money or whatever. Their company goes on. But to think that an economy is forever going up, that's not possible. It's not reasonable. Why wouldn't an economy have fucking normal downturns? Why would that not be the case? People change, situations change, events happen. But that can't happen, you see. So they have to artificially prop it up. So it's like it's good for the economy. Look, there's no fucking free lunch. How stupid are you to think there's a free lunch, that we're not going to pay for this on the back end, or that your kids aren't going to pay for this on the back end? Are you like, come on now. Do you not agree with me? There's no free lunch? Because there is no fucking free lunch. And if you somehow think that we're benefiting from the economy, show me how. Show me how we're benefiting from the economy. Oh, California's the third or fourth economy, this and that. That doesn't mean dick. They don't produce anything. They produce nothing, not even movies anymore. It's literally white people selling it's white people and colored people in California selling each other insurance and stealing, funneling and frauding their way, the government out of money. That's what it is. It's a clusterfuck. It blows my mind that you think anybody somehow benefits from it. Like, no fucking way. That's not happening. Like this Katie Porter woman. This woman was for open borders. I'm sure she would have kept them open permanently if she could have. She's for, at the same time, open borders and free universal health care for all. Why don't you just give the entire fucking planet a citizenship to our country? Why don't you just go ahead and get it over with and give every fucking human being on the planet an American passport? Just get it the fuck over with then, if that's where we're at. I mean, it's fucking suicidal. Are you a retard? It's like you want to run the shit into the ground. You want your kids to suffer. You want this place to fucking burn. You want it to be like South Africa. It's fucking incredible. Don't you get, there's no free lunch. How is it possible? I mean, how is it possible that you could honestly think like the government, every dollar that goes into the government with every tax dollar, like half of it disappears. Half of it, gone. And then they take the other 50 cents, and who knows where the fuck that goes. I mean, maybe it does go to the actual people, but still, you've paid half of it away, and you're getting shit service to boot. The customer service is garbage. Like, look at England. Look at England. They have the NHS. They have their public health care. Yeah, they're talking about going to a fucking private insurance model already. They are talking about that right now. because they're literally, their shit isn't solvent. It's tanking. That institution is gone. It used to be the pride of England, the pride of Britain, pride of the world, whatever. It's fucking gone. It doesn't work. The service is trash. Canada, same thing. And even if the service is good, they bring in brown people that overwhelm the services and destroy the service anyway. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And basically every single issue is just a wedge to part us from our money. It's a fucking get rich quick scheme by politicians. And they every year they come out with more, and they come up with more ideas. Like, nobody is happy with the shit that's going on. I just don't get it. Like, let's let the shit fail, and then we'll fucking start from scratch with people that aren't trying to betray us, that people that aren't traitors and treasonous conspiracists, you know, selling their country and their countrymen out. The shit doesn't work. And, you know, when the 9-to-5 job model disappears, because it will. I mean, eventually, nothing we can do. I mean, that was like kind of a very small, like a nanosecond in time, there was such a thing as a 9-to-5 job. But once the 9-to-5 job is over, you know, taxes are voluntary. And it's only because income taxes was easy for the government because you have an employer, and your employer takes the shit out of your check, or your employer tells the government, hey, I paid this guy such and such amount of money. But if you work for yourself, you actually don't have to pay taxes. I mean, if you make money on the internet, Biden figured out a way. But I mean, when I was doing shit on the internet, I made a lot of money. Just buying and selling shit. But, you know, and people will pay taxes. They actually don't have a problem paying taxes when they're reasonable, but within reason. If you let people keep most of their money, they'll give up quite a bit, you know, 20-30%, and they won't gripe about it. But it's like it's getting absurd, and all the money, it's not like the money is well spent. They take our money and then spend it on selling our birthright, just selling it to the highest fucking bidder, rug pulling us. You know, they promise us shit, Social Security, welfare, and then when it comes time to pay, we don't get it. We don't get it. And even if we do get it, you know, usually there's some other angle that you're not aware of. You know, maybe they're testing medications out on they're using you as a guinea pig. You know, there's always some angle to it. They don't give anything for free. Even when you pay for it, we don't get anything from our government for free. It blows my mind how people like fucking, it's like a street fight getting these people to let go of these rotten, corrupt institutions. It blows my mind. It seems obvious to me too. I know a lot of other people see the shit too, but you know, it's like kind of out in the open too. Like, you know, they get kickbacks on kickbacks, bribes on bribes, campaign contributions on campaign contributions, blackmail, and then just outright treason. People that, you know, hate America, like Jonathan Pollard, people like that. And we can't, like, everybody agrees that shit sucks right now, but we can't get nobody. Some of us want change, and others will fight to the death to prevent it. And It used to be the progressives that wanted change, not anymore. They have set it up so that the way the system is now, they all get rich as things are now. So they, at all costs, want to keep things from changing. The politicians and the bureaucrats and the NGO employees, you know, they'll fight tooth and nail. You saw that shit with USAID. So they fight like the Dickens. They're basically the modern conservatives. You know, they're stealing from us. They let the shit happen with the Somalians. They're fine with the Somalians taking it, just so as they're there to get their cut. They're still stealing from us. I would bet my fucking life that the people there it's fucking business as usual today. Yeah, Nick Shirley, there was some shit that went viral. Nobody did a fucking thing. Guaranteed. That's a done fucking deal. Nothing was done about it. These people are still all the same fucking fake daycares and shit. It's still happening. Mark my words. Because, I mean, if they had done something about it, they would be like, oh, look what we did. Look what we did. You can see how much we did for you guys. See, your tax dollars, you know, went to good use. No, they didn't.
Moved into
No, they didn't.
Factories, then into bureaucracies, then into offices. Tasks became more and more specialized, fragmented, and increasingly abstract.
I'm now waiting for the computer to answer me, and then I just flick a switch on the modem and replace the receiver.
Even those who celebrated industrial progress recognized that something human was being lost. At the same time, family structure began to erode as well. The multi-generational household, where fathers, sons, uncles, and grandfathers all lived in proximity, started to disappear. Industrial economies demanded mobility. Men left home for work. Families became smaller, more isolated, more fragile. Even secular sociologists like Emil Durkheim warned about this. He used the term anomie to describe a state where social norms collapse and individuals are left without clear guidance or purpose. And think about the world we live in now. When was the last time someone corrected you or someone looked out for you? In today's world, you can go years and years without interacting with anybody if you really want to. And then for the first time in history, something even more radical happened. Mass media. But before we dive into those, I just wanted to say that it's really difficult to find sponsors for videos like this, and so this one is sponsor free. The fact is, these videos do take weeks to produce each in terms of research and production, and currently I am a single one-man team. But luckily, my supporters over at buymeacoffee.com/lungsoffaith help make these videos possible. So if you do like these videos, please consider donating over there. It really helps support the mission and get this information out there to the world. And something that I do over here is that supporters at $50 a month plus are credited as producers with real input on future topics. Back to the plot. With the rise of newspapers, film, television, and eventually the internet, the image of what a man is supposed to be was no longer primarily shaped by fathers or communities. It was projected onto millions of people at once, by whoever had the money to decide what that would be. Identity was no longer received. It was broadcast, packaged, and consumed. Figures like Edward Bernays openly spoke about this shift. He described modern society as one in which, quote, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. In other words, culture itself could be engineered. And when you combine all of this, alienated work, fractured families, anonymous cities, and manufactured identity, you don't just get confusion. You get a vacuum, a blank canvas, a space where something used to be that is now missing. And the question is no longer just what happened to man. The question is who or what stepped in to fill that void. While the Industrial Revolution was reshaping how men worked and lived, something else was quietly unraveling beneath the surface at the same time that cannot be ignored. A far more radical shift.
Our particular concept of a free society. I don't think that sin should have...
That's a William F. Buckley show from the 60s. I've seen it. It's like a 2-hour show. Just William F. Buckley and Hugh Hefner duking it out. Like the mid-60s.
Any particular place in secular society as such, because it's a religious concept and should remain
we should
there.
just
Most
be able to
people
fuck
assume
and
that
suck in the street, in the schools, you know, just let it all hang out there.
Sexual revolution was primarily about women, but that doesn't actually make sense if you really think about it. Like, why would a transformation that rewired something as fundamental as sexuality only affect half of humanity? If you change females' standards, then the weak majority of men will adapt to them. And if you want a whole video going into this topic in great depth, I have several on the sexual revolution that are a must-watch. But a question on many people's minds is, if society was really so Christian before all of this, and men were so strong and moral, how did this movement even have such force? Wouldn't men have just resisted it? Well, because the idea of that perfect pre-1950s Catholic America is nothing but a mere caricature
Catholic
that
America?
modern
What?
traditionalists like to cling to. In reality,
What's no
things
Catholic
weren't so good
America?
in America already. The existing breakdown of so-called Christianity in the West was reflected by waning service attendances amongst Roman Catholics and Protestants. Religious formation was weak, shallow, and most people already had spiritually checked out, even though it didn't look like that on the outside. And so men fell for it. At its core, the sexual revolution separated sex from responsibility. For most of history, sex was tied to marriage, family, and consequence. It carried weight. It demanded something of you. Commitment. But beginning in the mid-20th century, with the normalization of contraception, the collapse of sexual norms, and the cultural upheaval of the 1960s, that link was severed. Even the most influential figures in the sexual revolution, like Wilhelm Reich, argued that traditional sexual morality was a form of repression and tyranny. Around the same time, Alfred Kinsey published very controversial reports using data from minor rape victims that reframed sexual behavior as something fluid, widespread, and detached from moral structure totally.
Many of Kinsey's findings and techniques remain controversial, including his occasional reliance on the accounts of admitted child abusers. Still, he's widely hailed as a trailblazer in a previously taboo field.
And they received millions and millions of dollars in grants and funding from the Rockefellers. His first grant in 1941 was $1,600. Not too much, but by 1947, his project was pulling in about $40,000 to $100,000 a year, which, keep in mind, is about $600,000 to $1 million in today's currency. These ideas didn't stay academic, they reshaped culture, and when sex is no longer ordered towards responsibility, something strange happens. It becomes consumption, and pornography is the clearest example. What was once hidden, rare, and socially condemned is now instant, infinite, and algorithmically delivered, and the effects are not subtle. Studies have linked frequent pornography use to increased loneliness, decreased relationship satisfaction, and distorted expectations of intimacy. This diagram here shows the reward center of your brain. This is it on heroin, and this is it on pornography. They're practically indistinguishable. The truth is, you no longer have to build a life. You just have to align yourself with something on the internet. And this aligns very closely with the World Economic Forum statement that you will own nothing and you will be happy.
The transition from...
You know, it's crazy. That doesn't sound like a prediction. That sounds like they're telling us how it's gonna be, and we're gonna like it. Like, that doesn't sound like they're like, oh, this could be your future if you choose. No, it's like, bitch, this is your future. You better get ready for it. It's coming whether you like it or not. That's kind of where that's what they were getting at there.
The industrial to the intelligent age is occurring at an exponential pace.
For decades, figures like Klaus Schwab have been openly describing a future defined by what he calls the fourth industrial revolution, a world where technology doesn't just change how we work, but fundamentally reshapes how we live, relate, and even understand what it means to be human. He writes that this new era will blur, quote, the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. At the same time, thinkers like Yuval Noah Harari have gone even further, describing human beings as, quote, hackable animals whose desires, decisions, and even identities can be understood and eventually engineered through data.
We need to realize that humans are now hackable animals. You can hack them.
I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news. You know, the whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and they have free will, that's over.
2 minutes later.
Personally, I feel most for really the soul of my country, of my nation. In Israel at the moment, there is really a battle for the soul of the Israeli nation.
But it never faced a catastrophe like we are dealing with right now, which is a spiritual catastrophe for Judaism itself.
And when you take a step back, you start to see the pattern. When you look at guys like Peter Thiel, the World Economic Forum, and all of the global elite, they commonly hover around and agree upon three main stated goals that we really need to understand. First, technocratic control.
But maybe you could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through technological means. And this is where I think technology is this incredible alternative to politics.
The old Marxist revolutionary fantasy of
so
simply
great.
overthrowing the system through open communist revolt largely failed, and especially in the West, because it was just too obvious. It declared war on the existing order in a way that ordinary people could see, fear, and resist. But that doesn't mean that the deeper impulse disappeared. It simply adapted. And this is where you need to understand who the Fabian socialists are. And I have a video that goes a lot more into detail about the Fabians that you should watch. But for the most part, you need to understand this. To make it simple, there are two main schools of thought. There were the Marxist revolutionaries who thought that they could simply overthrow using violence and force, and the Fabians were another group of communists, but they disagreed with the Marxist approach. They favored an approach called gradualism, and this is where the idea of controlled opposition really took force in its modern context. Controlled opposition is when a system allows, amplifies, or even subtly steers a supposed rebellion so that the rebellion never truly escapes its desired orbit. It looks anti-system, it feels anti-system, but in the end it only drives people into a new position that is still useful.
It's elite theory, you know, where they just, everything, any disruptions or any new ways, you know, like a revolution, it's all fake. You know, like, or maybe it's real at first, but they quickly co-opt it and fill it with their agents, with their people. And then, I mean, that's what the FBI has been doing to us for years now. Like January 6th, remember how there's like all kinds of agents in the crowd? That's everything is that way. Nothing happens. There is no virality. There is no marches or protests. None of that shit happens unless the elite say so. And when it does happen, it means that they control it. Because if they didn't control it, they would stop it. It's that simple. Like Trump, he gets co-opted. Same thing. It's the same thing. And at first they might be scared until they get it under control, which is what they always do. They co-opt every single movement. Like they're like a parasite or like a shape-shifting ditto or something, where they can attack and possess any movement as fast as they appear. You know, they're co-opted as instantly. You know, they have so much. They have all of our money at their disposal. They use the leverage and the power of the state and the volume and the vast quantities of our tax dollars to oppress the shit out of us. I mean, like, we give them the tools to fuck us with. Basically, I mean, that's really what happens. So, like, anytime you think, oh, yeah, you know, we got him this time, we're going to overthrow the power. Nah, bro. Nah, man, you're in a CI. That's a CI fucking institution. It's a criminal informant, you know. You're just a sucker. Everybody around you is a part of the board, man. They control everything. They have power. Do you think they're going to let that power slip through their fingers? Why would they do such a thing? They make all the rules and shit. Why would they make it so that you can get rid of them? See how skilled and the prowess of the Israeli lobby? Imagine that times 1,000. That's the American fucking elites. We're their golden goose, and they ain't gonna let our asses get away. They done figured out the formula. They figured out how to subjugate our asses. And short of dragging them out of their houses and stringing them up from lamp posts, you know, we're locked in pretty much. We've been locked in. And if they don't have control, they shoot your ass in the neck. We've seen it play out just in the last couple of years. Same shit.
To the system, controlled opposition. And we can see it with our own eyes. That is what makes the modern culture war so revealing and obvious. On one side, the public is hit with increasingly radical forms of gender ideology, sexual politics, and the soft feminization of man. This is kind of the caricature that people have of Marxism. When you say Marxism, they think a blue-haired, fat, liberal woman on the street screaming with a sign up. But in reality, That is what they want you to think Marxism is. And when they place this new icon into society, the result is outrage and disgust and backlash. But that backlash does not automatically produce Christian men. More often, it produces an overcorrection and a more sort of libertarian right wing. Think more like Ben Shapiro and the whole Daily Wire sphere. A meme-driven, hyper-ironic, aestheticized right wing that looks rebellious but still bound by post-enlightenment, classical liberal, modern ideas, which are completely safe to the system.
I want to thank all of you who have turned out here, want America to continue to grow and be strong so that we can beat all the libs.
Second, economic disruption and dependency. You might look at those statistics of all these men dropping out of the workforce and think that it's some accident, but the World Economic Forum's own Future of Jobs report said that by 2025, 85 million jobs may be displaced by a shift in the division of human labor between humans and machines. That is not fringe speculation, that is elite planning language, and once millions of people are pushed into unstable, fragmented forms of work, i.e. the gig economy, the next step becomes...
Because we're unsure of their capabilities. We won't acknowledge them. And so, for example, what happens if Israel's air defenses are overwhelmed, missiles are raining down on Israel, maybe even Iranian missiles are attacking Israel's nuclear facilities? Question: at what point does Israel deploy a nuclear weapon in that scenario? How overwhelmed, what constitutes an existential threat, which of their capabilities would need to be imperiled or compromised? When does Israel use that red button? When do they use the nuclear option? It's almost impossible for anybody to even speculate as long as there is not transparency. And this is jeopardizing diplomacy. It increases the risk of miscalculation, and it makes the entire situation far more dangerous for the United States and American soldiers in the region. This is the argument from the Democrats. So they are demanding that the Trump administration change the policy and disclose to the whole world and acknowledge that Israel is a nuclear power, that they are not a signatory on the NPT, and they've got weapons.
By the way, unless if a country has nuclear weapons, but they're not a part of the weapons treaty, it's illegal to sell them arms. So it's illegal to sell Israel arms. If they were a part of the treaty that every other country in the world is a part of, what we're doing right now is illegal as shit. The only reason why it can happen is because we refuse to acknowledge that they have fucking nukes, even though they say they have them, and they openly threatened to use nukes on Egypt in like the 70s or 60s.
Big deal. And it's not a lot of Democrats, but like I said, it's about 20 Democrats in the House that sent the letter, and this is part of overall a change in the Democratic Party posture. It's been going on since the Biden administration. They're trying to meaningfully restrain Israel by shutting down the types of weapons we give them and how much foreign aid we give them, and scrutinizing their actions in Gaza or Lebanon, up to and including now even putting pressure on this nuclear ambiguity policy. Just another reason I'm proud to be a Democrat.
Oh man, I love how he's doing this. They're roasting him on X. They think that he doesn't realize that they're going to clip it. It's fucking awesome.
I'm more and more pleased with my decision. So we're going to talk all about that. That'll be our featured story. We're also going to talk tonight about the war in Iran, which looks like it may be winding down, although we have no idea. It could be winding down. It could be winding up. They say it's over, but technically it's still going on. They might be saying that for legal reasons. We have no idea. Trump says that a peace agreement is imminent. And I think that is literally the 5th time in the past 9 weeks that the press has said a diplomatic breakthrough is imminent.
Oh, they say it every day.
I saw that on Twitter somewhere. I think they said, I don't know the exact formulation. I think they said that's the 5th time in 9 weeks that they've said a peace deal is going to happen any day now. At the same time, we're also threatening to resume bombing in a week. The big development came today. Trump administration has submitted a new proposal to Iran to end the war. We expect a response from Iran in the next 24 hours. Trump says that Iran now has 1 week to work out a deal, or else we're going back to war and bombing them. You got all that? So it was a 48-hour deadline, a 5-day deadline, a 10-day deadline, 24-hour deadline, a 2-week ceasefire, an indefinite ceasefire. Now, today, we have another proposal. We're expecting the response in a day, but we're giving them a week. And the new proposal goes something like this. It says that Iran will agree to a 12-year moratorium on enrichment. They will receive immediate sanctions relief. We will remove the blockade of the strait as long as they open up the strait to commercial shipping. Trump administration says we're so close to a deal. It's literally, we're looping. We're looping. Trump says Iran really wants a deal more than anybody knows, more than anyone even knows. He said they really want a deal. And what does Iran say? Iran says the U.S. has given them a wish list of American demands. So that doesn't sound too optimistic. A new operation was announced on Sunday, Operation Freedom, where the U.S. was going to escort commercial vessels out of the Persian Gulf through the strait. That was canceled after 2 days. We now learn that the reason this happened is because Saudi Arabia and Kuwait would not allow us to use their airspace to enforce the new operation. Saudi Arabia now, before they wanted us to keep the war going, now they want us to continue to pursue diplomacy through Pakistan. So it's a lot of bullshit. Okay, nobody knows. The Secretary of State doesn't even know. There's no plan here. It's cooked. It's cooked, and it's over, and it's a joke. But we'll talk about it a little bit tonight. We're going to get into it. All of this might need to be resolved by May 12th. Trump is supposed to visit Beijing in a trip to China. It was initially scheduled for the end of March, beginning of April, but they pushed it back because of the war. Trump is going out to China next week, and they say he wants this wrapped up or some progress by the time of that trip. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a breakthrough by next week. I don't know. Nobody knows. So we'll get into that. It's going to be a good show. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know.
Hit the like button so more, brings more people in.
Spring and summer price of $100 every month at AmericaFirst.plus. It's only for rich people. This is for drop shippers. This is for sports bettors. This is for polymarket winners. This is for winners. This is not for broke people.
I swear to God, every time, it's like almost every episode, the stuff that I talk about before, he literally follows up with the same shit.
Today I responded to a super chat. Somebody said, why does everybody hate the boomers? And I said, honestly, it's cope. It's young people that are coping for being broke. I said, it's actually easy to make money. You're just not smart enough to do it. And oh my gosh, everybody crashed out in the replies. People said, easy for you to say, you're just begging online for donations. That's not true. It's actually really hard. No, it's not. It's easy.
Yeah, it really is.
You're just too stupid and lazy. It's called the elect. It's called you were chosen by God to be poor. Those that have shall have more.
And those that have
that have less. Even what little they have, it will be taken from them. Here's a little piece of advice. Those that have shall have more. Those that have less, even the little they have will be taken from them. Okay, listen and learn. So this is for rich. This is not for complainers, whiners, people that hate boomers. We don't hate boomers. We're celebrating every day with boomers.
It's for those of us that shove little old ladies down fucking steps and shit.
We used to dream about times like this, okay? We used to wish for times like this. We're celebrating with boomers. It's not for whiners and complainers and losers. It's for winners and drop shippers. This is for people. This is for day traders. This is for people that create digital brands.
For the Jays, in other words. That's what he's saying. This is for the Jays. I'm for the Jays now.
The rich are honestly the landlords, the rich.
Yeah, no shit.
They honestly don't get enough credit. Everybody's trying to kill them right now. Luigi Mangione's trying to kill them. People are trying to burn their houses down in the Palisades successfully, I will add. A lot of beautiful, wonderful people had their houses destroyed in the Palisades fire because some resentful poor person tried to kill all of them. Zohran Mamdani wants to take all their money and waste it on free public buses and grocery stores for drug addicts and vagabonds. It's honestly disgusting. What is this, a Soviet Union? So this is just a nice, it's a little treat. It's as a treat. You get to talk to me as a treat, and it's only for the rich. It's really special. Now we're having fun. We're having fun with it. That's AmericaFirst.plus. I also want to talk a little bit about this before we get into the news. Dude, everybody is so mad at me for being a Democrat.
They are.
What is going on?
They're pissed.
Cancel culture is back in full force.
He kicked a hornet's nest.
Think about it. The Republican Party is like the new Democrat Party. What am I, a slave? What am I, a nigger on the plantation? That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember there was a time 10 years ago, remember this? Republicans went to black people and said, hey, what do you have to lose? Republicans came to the black Democrats and said, just because you're black doesn't mean you need to vote Democrat. They said, the Democrats don't own your vote. They come into the ghetto every 4 years asking for your vote, and then they do nothing for you.
Good point.
What do you have to lose? Try it. Vote Republican.
Fire.
And do you remember? Any black person that put on the MAGA hat was lynched. By the Democrats and canceled. And, you know, lately I've been flirting. You know, who told you I flirted? I've been flirting with this idea of becoming a Democrat. And now Republicans want to lynch me. Republicans literally want to come to Berwyn at my house.
They're all doing the, see, we told you, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Where I live. And they literally want to lynch me because I want to vote for the Democrats. So I say this week, I said, look, I'm a moderate Democrat. I want an immigration moratorium. I want Jewish media to be destroyed. I want Israel defunded. I'm a moderate Democrat. Okay, I'm an Afro-Latino, moderate Democrat. I want the Trump administration to be impeached. I want this criminal enterprise to be shut down. And all day today, I'm just getting attacked. He came out as a Democrat. He's a shill. We always knew. He's a traitor, this and that. You guys are taking this way too seriously. The partisanship is out of control. And honestly, here's just what I would say to anybody that doesn't get it. This is just true. And to be a little bit serious here for a second, what exactly do the Republicans do for any of us?
Nothing. They wage
Here's
war.
a question. What have the Republicans done for any of us right now? Think about where we are. They promised us no new wars. We are in a war with Iran. Totally insane. A war of aggression, war of choice for Israel. It's already cost us probably $50 billion. All our bases got destroyed. Gas is $6 a gallon in Chicago. So what happened to that? No new wars. We got Israel's wet dream, which is regime change war in Iran. Probably literally the last thing we needed. What else? They promised us mass deportations, the largest mass deportation operation in history. Remember that? What did they announce today? Well, they're shelving the program to fast-track new ICE agents. That's canceled. That's done. And at the same time, what else did they announce? They're considering legalizing DACA recipients and farm workers that are here illegally.
No.
The Trump administration is once again considering giving an amnesty in the form of H-1A visas or seasonal farm work visas to illegal aliens working in the agricultural sector. and giving amnesty to the DACA recipients, deferred action on childhood arrivals, the Dreamers. And obviously, we have no mass deportations. That got rolled up a few months ago, and it really never even got off the ground. Now Tom Homan is going out there and saying, it's coming, it's coming. Okay, when?
It's coming.
After the midterms, when Democrats control the House? After they shut down DHS for a few months just to deprive ICE of funding to shut exactly that program down? How are you going to do that? So what else? They promised us disclosure on the Epstein files, on 9/11, on the Kennedy assassination. Have we gotten any of that? No. They still have 3 million Epstein files they never released. And the 3 million that they did release were heavily redacted. And the Trump administration says they're not opening any new investigations. They're not pursuing anybody in connection with those files. They're not going to pursue any leads from the files. How about indictments? They said they were going after Fauci, Obama, the Clintons. Trump himself said they're letting Bill Clinton off the hook. Obama, has he been indicted? Remember last year, Tulsi Gabbard came out and said there's going to be something on that. Today, they said they're going to let the statute of limitations on Fauci run out. They have no interest in going after him. So they have given us nothing. Absolutely nothing. No new wars, no mass deportations, no disclosure on the Epstein files, no indictments of our enemies. We have gotten nothing. But the donors have gotten everything. Israel is very happy. They're very happy campers. They have gotten their wars. They've gotten their foreign aid. AI and little tech, they are very happy. Palantir is now in 4 departments and agencies. Anduril is getting contracts from the Pentagon, and so are all those companies. Anthropic is out, and OpenAI is in. There's a moratorium on AI regulation being pushed around in many different states. And how about Wall Street? They got their permanent corporate tax cut last year. So that's the deal when you vote Republican. That's the program. The voters get nothing. The donors get everything. The donors get betrayed on literally every issue. We get none of what we asked for and everything we didn't want. And the donors get absolutely everything. So what are we supposed to do at this point in time? Here we are at the midpoint in this presidential term. That is how it has gone. What exactly are we supposed to do? Vote Republican harder, vote Republican more? Why would we? And hey, there's only 2 parties. So what are we supposed to do? Stay home? What I am doing in this election is voting Democrat. I'm telling other people to vote Democrat, and I'm not liberal, I'm not progressive, I'm not left-wing in any way, as you know. Democrats have literally condemned me on the Senate floor. Democrats in the House Select Committee subpoenaed me and deposed me and froze my money and put me on the no-fly list. So I don't love the Democratic Party. And I'm not left-wing at all. And I wouldn't even call myself a liberal. I'm illiberal. I'm a reactionary. But partisanship is not a permanent part of your identity. It's something that you do. And this is about taking the power back from the Republicans. The Republicans think that they have us boxed in. They think that we are hostages, and they think they can get away with anything because we have no other options. Am I wrong? The Republicans fuck us over every single time because they know that most of you are too stupid or too loyal or too naive to think that you have another option. They will tell you every year, what are you going to do? Vote for a Democrat? What are we going to do? Let the Democrats win? And so we are expected to endlessly swallow a shit sandwich because they believe we are a captive audience, that we are a hostage. We have no other options. There's nowhere else to go. We're totally boxed in. So we have to keep voting for these terrible candidates. We have to keep voting no matter how much they betray us, how many promises they break. We're going to dutifully show up hold our noses and pull the lever for the Republicans, because that's the only way it can ever go. So why am I doing this radical, controversial, provocative thing? Why is the most far-right person voting for the left-wing party? To demonstrate that we still have the power, actually. We do have options. You have options. We are not hostages. We are not boxed in. You can leave at any time. They tell us, what are you going to do? Vote for a Democrat? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly that. And they're going to say, but that's going to hurt you. That's going to be bad for you. Well, it can't be much worse than the insult and the betrayal that we have been expected to swallow for the past 2, 4, 6, 10 years. Where's our border wall? We're still in Iraq. Where's our tariff schedule? Where's our infrastructure bill? Where's anything that we've been promised since 2016, since 2012? For that matter, we still have Obamacare.
Over 30 years.
And they say, what are you going to do? Vote for Democrat? Yeah, I am. For no reason other than it's a fuck you to the GOP. And we can afford to lose this one. This is an acceptable loss. I'm going to tell you why.
Can't get much worse.
In a state like Ohio, where we're going to vote Democrat against Vivek Ramaswamy, Republicans have a supermajority in both chambers of their legislature.
Yeah,
it's
so
fine.
They're not going to be able to get
Democrat
anything
can be
passed.
the governor. She'll be out in 4
Divided
years.
government.
And in the meantime, you got Republicans in control of the legislature. The damage is controlled. And the same is true at the federal level. We give Democrats the House, maybe the Senate, but Republicans have the presidency until 2028. It's called checks and balances.
Oh.
So it's not like the damage is totally unmitigated. The damage is controlled. We're going to set a Democrat legislature against a Republican president to slow down the pace of things, to send a message. These are acceptable losses. And it's worth it. It's worth it to take the power back and to remind Republicans we can be switch hitters too. We can play both sides too.
Oh my goodness.
They play both sides all the time. They do it all the time. Think about when Kevin McCarthy raised the debt ceiling for Joe Biden, asking nothing in return. They do it all the time. Republicans and Democrats have collaborated on the wars, on free trade, on the destruction of the economy, on many, many things over the years. And by the way, so have the donors. How many of the donors, or even some of the cabinet members, how many times have they switched parties? Bill Ackman, Sean McGuire, these are lifelong Democrats that became Republicans. RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong Democrats that became Republicans. Why is it that only the political class and the donors, only they
Or the Jays.
get choice? Only they get genuine choice and discretion in the election. They move their money around based on who works for them, and the politicians move around based on what's politically viable. But we, the voters, we have to be corralled and herded into one camp, and you can never leave, or else you're a traitor to the GOP. What even is the GOP? It's atheists, Indians, Jews, gays. What is the GOP even? I mean, the GOP is horrible, and they have done nothing for us. We need to be loyal to them. When are they going to start being loyal to us? Ever, once. They're giving us Vivek Ramaswamy in Ohio. We have to be loyal to the GOP? Why? So this is why I'm a Democrat in 26. I don't know if I'll be a Democrat forever. I'd like the Republican Party to win me back. Should be easy enough, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a white man in my late 20s. I'm rich. I'm extremely conservative. I'm a Catholic. I'm a social conservative. It should be really easy for the Republican Party to get me back, shouldn't it? Why should anyone in my demographic profile ever even consider voting Democrat? Why would that even be the case? Only unless you have fucked it up that badly. So I'm voting Democrat based on the results of the past 2 years, And if conditions improve, if we get a good candidate in 28, if we get a good platform in 28, maybe I'll consider coming back. But I'm uncommitted right now. And that's where everybody needs to be. This is called taking the power back, taking your leverage back. Why would we?
You know, we watched Sean Ryan with Cenk yesterday. Cenk was saying the same thing. We don't have to cross party lines to vote these fucking bums out.
Give away all of the leverage. The second you tell somebody, I'm never going to leave, no matter what, you got me. No matter what, I'm buying from you, I'm voting for you, I'm staying with you in any negotiation, in any relationship, in any situation. When you tell somebody or some entity, no matter what happens, I'm with you, all you're telling them is you can treat me any way you want. And there is no cost. There's no risk. And that's how you lose a negotiation every single time. That's what we're doing with the GOP. No matter what, we'll vote for you. Give us the shittiest candidates, break every promise, do everything you said you wouldn't do. We'll still be there. We'll be angry. We'll be there reluctantly, but we'll be there because you're right. We can never let the Democrats win, so you got us. That's why it is the way it is. That's why it is the way it is. So I see everybody freaking out. They're saying, you know, we can't go that far. I don't like all this Democrat stuff. Well, you know what? I don't like what we're getting. I don't like what we're getting from the Republicans, and I actually have dignity. At least voting for Democrats is affirming something that is good, which is we're punishing the people that have betrayed us. I'm not going to get stabbed in the back 6 million times and then say, oh, here's my vote. Maybe you'll get back on track next time. I'm not doing it. I won't do it. I won't help these people even a little bit. Donald Trump is promoting Mark Levin and Laura Loomer and saying that Tucker and Candace and Megyn Kelly are not MAGA. We all like Tucker and Candace and Megyn Kelly. I don't always get along with them, but the things that they're saying are the things we all believe in for the most part. So every day, Trump is attacking us, the people that represent us, and elevating the people that hate us and represent everything that we despise. We're going to vote. We're going to reward this? You would have to be a complete idiot. Do the logic. And then people say, well, I'm just not going to vote. Do the logical thing. Vote for the party that is going to visit pain and punishment on the people that have sold us out and betrayed us. I'm voting for the wrecking ball. I'm voting for destruction. I'm voting for the destroyer. I'm voting for Vishnu. Not Vivek, I'm voting for Vishnu. I'm voting for Bane. I'm voting for a reckoning against the GOP. That's all that is. Burn it down. I want this administration and everybody in it to be destroyed so that in 28, the Republican primary field will be open for a genuine challenger, because that's going to be the next story. Everybody that was in this administration is a failure. Vance, Rubio, Hegseth, they're all failures. They're all complicit in this. They have to be weakened so that they cannot win the primary in 28. They have to be sufficiently weakened so that a insurgent dark horse has a chance, has an opportunity at running as an outsider in 28 against the legacy of this garbage administration. That is the only thing that is going to work. And I know a lot of people are not riding with that, but frankly, those people don't know the first thing about politics. I see people saying, why is he going for a Democrat? I have explained this literally every day for like a year. So at that point, it's just a rhetorical question. The people that are not getting this are either complete NPCs and retarded, or they don't know the first thing about politics. But everything I'm saying makes absolute sense. This is the only way we can play. The Republican Party is the only game in town if we want to oppose leftism, and that is why we have to defeat the conservatives in the GOP and replace them with nationalists. So we have to weaken the GOP so that it can be hijacked and taken over. That's it. That's the play. So anyway, I've been saying this for a long time. I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. throughout 2026. Let's have some fun with it. Yeah, I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat because the GOP has screwed me over. They have given me nothing. I am burning my MAGA hat. They betrayed everything. They took it too far this time. War with Iran, burying the Epstein files or trying to, amnesty for DACA. You took it too far this time. You have royally pissed us off. You have exceeded what people even imagined would be the disappointments of this administration by far. People that thought this was going to inaugurate a golden age now don't even want to vote in the midterms because they fucked it up that bad. So what else can you do? They're not listening. They're not hearing us. The only thing they can understand is defeat. That's the only thing they will understand is a loss. Make them lose. That's the only language they understand. So anyway, that's that. But I do want to move on. I want to get into our news here for the night. I want to get into our featured story here. It's what it is. It's what it is. And yeah, I just don't know how people are not getting that. We're going to move on, though. I do want to get into our news. Featured story tonight is about our new Democrat colleagues here. Our new Democrat allies. Pretty based. And like I said at the top of the show, I actually haven't seen any big news about this. You know, I read all the papers. I read the New York Times. I read the Wall Street Journal, Axios. I did not see this anywhere. This was in the Washington Post today. A group of 20 Democrats in the House of Representatives have written a letter to the White House demanding that this Trump administration disclose that Israel maintains a nuclear arsenal. And this is a huge deal.
Huge.
For those that don't know, Israel is a nuclear-armed country. I think everybody knows this at this point. There's only about a dozen nuclear-armed countries in the world, and you probably know them. It's the U.S., Russia, China,
Korea,
France, the United Kingdom, India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel. But the difference is, unlike all these other countries, every other country in the world
sign the pact,
discloses and acknowledges that they have nuclear weapons. We know that France has nuclear weapons because they have declared them. We know that Russia has nuclear weapons because they have declared them. And so everybody knows what everybody has. The one country that this does not apply to is Israel. Israel has, since the mid-1960s, okay, so for 60 years, Israel has maintained a clandestine, undeclared nuclear arsenal. We don't know the exact size, but it's estimated to be anywhere between 200 and 300 nuclear bombs, nuclear warheads. And they have two methods of delivery. They have missiles, they're Jericho missiles, and they have submarines. There's speculation that they have submarine-launched ballistic missiles that can carry a nuclear warhead. So people talk about the means of delivery. Israel's got 2 out of the 3 in the nuclear triad, the other being a strategic air force. Israel does not have that. So it is known, by the way, in the international community, and it is established and it's known among the public that Israel has nuclear weapons. But it has never been officially disclosed by Israel, and maybe more concerning, the United States has never acknowledged that Israel has a nuclear weapons program. And this has been a matter of policy since the Nixon administration. President Nixon and Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir came to a secret agreement in the late 1960s that the United States would effectively participate in Israel's strategic ambiguity, meaning Israel would never declare its nuclear weapons program, and we would never snitch. We would never acknowledge that they have nuclear weapons, even though everybody knows that they do, and we know that they do.
We wouldn't be able to sell them weapons.
We won't talk about it. And why is that the case? Well, Israel does not want to declare their nuclear arsenal because they want something called strategic ambiguity. They want their neighbors and their rivals in the Middle East not to know whether they have nuclear weapons or how many nuclear weapons they have or where they are or how they can deliver them. And why would that be beneficial for Israel to maintain this ambiguity? So that all these other countries would be a little bit more careful. A nuclear country realistically cannot lose a war. And it doesn't mean that they literally can't lose. It means you don't want them to lose a war. Because if a nuclear country loses a war or is at risk of losing a total war against a non-nuclear country, well, the nuclear country will use its nukes. So let's say, for example, that Syria and Egypt invade Israel, and Israel fears that it might lose the war and become occupied and maybe erased from the map. Well, then Israel will use their weapon of last resort, and they will just nuke Egypt and Syria. And that came very close to happening in the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Syria and Egypt simultaneously invaded Israel. Israel was caught completely by surprise. They were late in mobilizing their reserve ground forces, and it looked like maybe Israel might fall. Israel was begging the United States for support. We were dragging our feet. And so what did their prime minister do, Golda Meir? She exposed their nuclear weapons in full view of our satellites for us to see. And the implication was that if we didn't airlift supplies to Israel, that they would use their nuclear weapons against Egypt and Syria, which we definitely did not want to happen. So then we launched the biggest airlift of weapons and supplies to Israel since World War II, or maybe in history. I don't know exactly the numbers.
You know, I don't think it was as much.
But that is part of their ambiguity. They don't want other countries to know what they're capable of, so that they're not going to push Israel too far. They might not want to win so decisively. They might not want to threaten Israel too much. It is to create uncertainty so that in order not to risk miscalculation, their rivals will be less aggressive. Let's say in a modern context, if Saddam Hussein does not know where Israel's red line is, when they're going to use their nuclear weapons, Iraq has to do some guesswork. Where is that red line? Is it here? Is it there? And obviously, if you don't want to get nuked, you're going to be pretty conservative in your calculations. If you're guessing where that red line is, you don't want to say it's too far when actually it's closer, because you don't want to trip it. You don't want to cross the threshold. So that means that Iraq or Iran or any other adversary, they're going to be a little bit less aggressive to prevent a miscalculation that results in them being hit with a nuclear strike. So this is the thinking here. And the United States will not acknowledge their nuclear program because we're helping them. We are, in a sense, helping them maintain this deception. We're helping them maintain this ambiguity for their benefit. And it's not really for our benefit. It's actually better for the United States that every party in the conflict knows where the red lines are. It's also actually better for every party, including the United States, to know what Israel has in the context of a nuclear negotiation. So let's talk about, for example, the negotiation over Iran's nuclear arsenal. Why does Iran seek a nuclear hedge? Why do they want centrifuges? Why do they engage in nuclear enrichment? Why are they enriching uranium to weapons grade? It's because they fear that Israel and the United States will attack them. Israel and the United States are nuclear powers. So in order for Iran to deter an attack from nuclear armed powers, they have to achieve parity. They have to get on our level and have the same strategic capability, which is a nuclear arsenal. Or at the minimum, 80% of the way towards a nuclear arsenal so they could quickly build one. So you could say, in a way, that the only reason Iran wants a nuclear weapon in any scenario is because Israel already has one. And that actually would be good for everybody to know. How can we convince Iran that they cannot have a nuclear weapon? You have no right to enrichment. You have no right to nuclear, highly enriched uranium. You have no right even to a nuclear weapon, but Israel does. Israel does, but we won't acknowledge it. We're going to be complicit in their illegal, undeclared nuclear weapons program, but you can't have anything. You can have a peaceful nuclear program. You can't have enrichment at any level. You can't have a centrifuge. You can't have weapons. Forget even about that. It's just not even honest. So it impedes the ability of countries in the Middle East to calculate effectively, and it also is hindering diplomacy. So to this end, a group of 20 Democrats have written a letter to the White House, and they have said, for these reasons, this policy needs to end. This is not America first. This is helping Israel at our expense. This is helping Israel at the expense of actually every country in the Middle East. We're not being honest with Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Iran. Therefore, it's hindering diplomacy. It's also increasing the risk of some miscalculation that could result in a nuclear war that gets Americans killed. So the Democrats are demanding that the White House change this policy of ambiguity and acknowledge Israel has nukes. And this is a story from the Washington Post, or pardon me, I think this is from another source quoting the Post. It says, a group of House Democrats is urging the Trump administration to publicly acknowledge Israel's undeclared nuclear weapons program. In a letter to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, more than 24 lawmakers led by Representative Joaquin Castro say that Washington's silence on the program is indefensible amid the war in Iran and the acute threat of military escalation. The lawmakers wrote, quote, the risks of the risks of miscalculation, escalation, and nuclear use in this environment are not theoretical. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to be fully informed about the nuclear balance in the Middle East, the risk of escalation by any party to the conflict, and the administration's planning and contingencies for such scenarios. Israel does not acknowledge its nuclear weapons program built in secret beginning in the late 1950s and has no publicly stated doctrine on how it might use those weapons. Castro, in an interview with the Post, said the United States should not refuse to disclose this information about a foreign nation simply out of courtesy when there is so much at stake for our own service members, our economy, and the country. He said U.S. officials speak candidly about the nuclear weapons programs of the United Kingdom, France, India, Pakistan, Russia, North Korea, and China, and Israel should be no different. Last month, a record 40 Senate Democrats voted to block weapons transfers to Israel. According to Pew Research Center, 80% of Democrats now view Israel unfavorably, up from 53% in 2022. Think of that. 80% of Democrats view Israel unfavorably. They shut down weapons transfers to Israel. They vote against foreign aid to Israel. They want to block technology sharing with Israel. And now they want us to disclose Israel's nuclear weapons program. Shapiro says many, perhaps most Democrats, this is an analyst, at this point want to see fundamental changes in the U.S.-Israeli relationship. The first change that these Democrats want to see is for the U.S. to hold Israel to the same standards as other countries on issues such as nuclear weapons. Now, once again, you hate to say it, but this is the America First policy, and it's coming from the Democrats. And by the way, this is the key that unlocks the entire dilemma in the Middle East. What exactly is the root of this current conflict? All of the current conflicts in Lebanon, in Gaza, in Yemen, in Iran. The root of this conflict really is Israel's undeclared nuclear arsenal. Israel has a stockpile of nuclear weapons that they will not acknowledge exists. At the same time, Israel is prosecuting a proxy war against Iran and all of its allies, against Hezbollah, against the Assad regime at one time, against Hamas, against the Houthis, and against Iran. Israel is in Iran doing cyber attacks, industrial sabotage, high-level assassinations. And as of last year, with the United States carrying out an all-out air campaign, a naval campaign. And Iran has no means or ability to defend itself. Why? Because Iran does not have a nuclear capability and Israel does. And that's really the root of the problem. Iran understands that Israel wants regime change in Iran. Israel ultimately seeks to totally dominate the Middle East. And so that means that every country is going to be subordinated to Israel or will be destroyed. And Iran is a big nation. 90 million people, huge territory, huge middle class, huge economy supported by natural energy resources. And so Iran is a natural rival of Israel, is never going to submit to Israel. And so Israel has to destroy Iran. And Israel is perfectly capable of doing this because Israel has weapons of mass destruction and Iran doesn't. So this is why Iran is in this push to maintain some kind of nuclear hedge. This is at the center of this three-way problem between Israel, Iran, and the United States. Israel pursues regime change against Iran. So Iran is in a race to a nuclear hedge. That race towards a nuclear hedge triggers a non-proliferation impulse from the United States. We cannot allow other countries to get nuclear weapons because there tends to be a domino effect. Israel gets nukes, so all their neighbors want them. Syria wants them. Iraq wants them. Libya wants them. So we have to destroy all those countries. Iran wants them. What happens if Iran gets a nuclear weapon? Well, then Saudi Arabia is going to want a nuclear weapon because they're in a proxy war with Iran. And then the Emirates is going to want a nuclear weapon. And what happens then when there's 4 nuclear countries in the Middle East? Then you got Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and then other countries are going to want nuclear weapons. Maybe Turkey will want nuclear weapons. Maybe then Ethiopia, Egypt will want nuclear weapons. This is how this goes out of control. And the more nations have nuclear weapons, one, we are at a disadvantage then strategically against every other country that has them. But also, there's a greater risk of nuclear terrorism. There's a greater risk of nuclear war. And so that triggers our grand strategy, our geopolitical imperative, which is to suppress the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. You see? So Israel wants regime change in Iran. So Iran needs a nuclear hedge. Because they're pursuing a nuclear hedge, now we have to intervene to prevent them from getting one. And what does that look like? Well, that is the current diplomacy with Iran. In this conversation between Washington and Tehran, we are telling them, why are we at war with you? Because you cannot have centrifuges. Because centrifuges enrich uranium, and if you're able to enrich uranium, then you can create weapons-grade uranium that can be used as fuel for a nuclear bomb. So that's why you can't have any kind of nuclear program. You can't have any enrichment, any centrifuges. You have to destroy what you have under our supervision. You have to surrender your stockpile of already highly enriched uranium. And that is something that Iran will never do. That is something they will never give up, because the second that they give up their nuclear hedge, they are completely vulnerable to regime change from Israel. And we cannot accept anything less than those things, because as long as Iran has enrichment and as long as Israel is seeking regime change, then on a long enough timeline, Iran is going to acquire a nuclear bomb. And that is something we can never allow, because then again, it triggers this arms race. And then you've got an arms race in the Persian Gulf, and the UAE is next, and Saudi Arabia after that. They're going to get their blueprints from Pakistan. And now the whole Middle East is nuclear armed. This is where we are. So people say, what do we do about Iran? How do we extricate ourselves from the war? Well, Iran is telling us they will not accept a short-term truce. Why is that? Because they know that if we end the war with Iran today, all we are going to do, the United States and Israel, is we're going to build more weapons to attack them. All we're going to do is stabilize the economy. We're going to get gas prices back down. We're going to get through the midterms. We're going to build more missile interceptors. We're going to repair our bases. We're going to repair our carriers. We're going to replenish our armed forces that are deployed there. And then we're going to take another crack at it and invade again or attack again, which might include an invasion. And Iran is telling us we are not going to let you off the hook unless we get an agreement on the root causes of the conflict. We don't ever want to fight you again. And what that means from Iran's perspective is an acknowledgement that they can enrich uranium. that they can have centrifuges. In other words, that they can have their nuclear hedge. And why do they need that nuclear hedge? Because they don't trust us, because they know that we can never restrain Israel, which is a nuclear armed power. Iran doesn't know that Israel will never nuke them. Iran doesn't know that Israel will never try regime change, and they will be insulated from any kind of retaliation because they have a nuclear arsenal, which is always their plan B. So how do we get out of our war with Iran? Well, the only way that we can deal honestly and honorably with Iran, how do you get them to give up their right to enrich, their right to have a nuclear program, if we are complicit in Israel's illegal, undeclared nuclear program? We can't. They're never going to trust us. They're never going to deal with us in good faith, and they're never going to build enough rapport that they'll ever agree to concessions that are acceptable to us.
We've left them no other choice.
So what must be involved in the process is that we actually have to treat Israel and Iran somewhat equally and fairly. We have to restrain Israel. If regime change from Israel is what Iran fears, if a nuclear-armed Israel attacking Iran is what Iran fears, then we have to put Israel in their place. You have to start by acknowledging, yeah, they're a nuclear-armed power. It really isn't fair. How can we expect Iran to give up their enrichment? They don't even have bombs. They don't even have a bomb yet. They don't even have a method of delivery. Iran is not able to miniaturize a nuclear warhead and put it on a ballistic missile. They don't even have a method of delivery yet. They don't have a strategic air force. They don't have submarines that can launch a submarine launch ballistic missile. They don't have miniaturization. Israel has 300 warheads on missiles, on submarines ready to go. How can we tell Iran you can't even have the centrifuges that make the enriched uranium that go into a bomb? They don't even have delivery yet when we are lying about Israel's undeclared program. You can't. So it starts with some honesty where you say, yes, Israel is a nuclear-armed country. They have 300 nuclear warheads pointed at Iran. That is how they're able to engage in all these risky foreign policy decisions that they've been doing for the past 10 years or 20 years. And maybe there needs to be some kind of a reckoning about that. Maybe an agreement from Iran to give up their centrifuges involves restrictions on Israel's nuclear program. Maybe let's start with disclosure. Maybe let's start with some kind of nuclear doctrine. We don't even know how Israel would use their nuclear weapons.
Might be
dirty. Do they have any articulable doctrine on under what conditions or circumstances they would consider using weapons of mass destruction? Because we do. Russia does. We promulgate a strategic doctrine that says only under these circumstances will we use nuclear weapons. And this is meant to reassure other countries with these world-ending weapons. Israel, nobody knows what they have, how many they have, that they have them, and maybe more importantly, we don't even know under what conditions they would use them and how they would use them and against whom. Would they just use them against Iran, or would they use them against the whole world? Would they use them against every nuclear power? We don't know. And under what circumstances? We don't know. That might be a step in the right direction. If we can impose limitations or transparency on Israel's program, maybe then Iran would come to the table. And at the minimum, forget even about that, I think that would make everybody feel a lot safer. When Israel is bombing Iran and assassinating all their leadership, and when Israel is bombing their civilian infrastructure, and when we're bombing their military and we're bombing everything, and Iran is launching missiles at Israel's nuclear facilities, and launching missiles at Israel's population centers, it would actually be better for America and American soldiers and everybody else in the region to know at what point do those attacks trigger a nuclear response. That would be better for us to know, because that would make us safer. And that would make us better able to manage the situation and prevent it from escalating to a point where it becomes a nuclear confrontation. That would be safer for the United States, safer for the soldiers in the Middle East, safer for our other allies in the region because we do have other allies, safer for Europe. And where is this policy coming from? It's coming from the Democrats. Could you even imagine Republicans sending a letter like this? Of course not. Who are the Republicans? Randy Fine, Lindsey Graham, Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, Mike Waltz is our UN ambassador. Would this ever come from the Republicans? It's time to acknowledge that from a national security point of view, the Democrats are at this point in time more America first than the Republicans.
They are.
And that's a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
But it's true. The Republicans have let government officials into the White House who are compromising vital U.S. intelligence and interests with Israel.
Treason.
Our national security advisor, Mike Waltz from Florida, who was chosen by Susie Wiles, he was using an encrypted messaging app to talk to the Prime Minister of Israel. That guy should be in jail. That guy should be under the jail. They didn't even get rid of him. They took him out of that position and they gave him a new job as the UN ambassador. How is that America first? You're literally compromising national security at the highest levels. Mike Waltz was in constant communication with Netanyahu, lobbying on behalf of Israel as the national security advisor to the White House, to the President of the United States. And they didn't even fire him. Dan Bongino, his phone was on Israel time, and he was the deputy director of the FBI. This is who is in our government under the Trump administration. Who are the Republican leadership in Congress? From our side, well, it's Lindsey Graham. It's Randy Fine. It's these kinds of Republicans. Whereas on the Democrat side, throughout Biden's term, you had Democrats that were trying to get a memorandum passed that we wouldn't give Israel 2,000-pound bombs, that we would review whether they were using the weapons we give them in accordance with the laws of war so that we could stop sending them every class of weapons that they're asking for. And there was enormous pressure inside the Biden administration to shut down their war in Gaza. We confronted Iran but never attacked them under Biden. We tried to negotiate a deal with Iran. And now there's 20 Democrats that want disclosure on Israel's nuclear arsenal. When will people acknowledge, I mean, let's just say it, the Democrats are more America first on foreign policy than the Republicans right now. Bar for bar. All of that is true. Everybody knows the Republican Party is the Israel-controlled party. And it's not to say the Democrats aren't pro-Israel, because they are. And it's not to say the Democrats aren't influenced by Jewry, which they are. Of course. Jonathan Greenblatt at the ADL is a Democrat. So the SPLC is a very Jewish organization in bed with the Democrats. The Democratic Party is a very Jewish institution and very pro-Israel historically. But let's be honest, their electorate is 80% against Israel. And there is a progressive faction of the Democratic Party that wants to restrain Israel. And maybe not necessarily always for the right reasons or exactly the same reasons, but it's way more than you can say about the Republicans. And for that, you got to give them credit and say, you know what? Maybe that alone deserves a vote. Because this war in Iran, everything else, it's a really big deal. Think about everything the Republicans have done to this country since they've taken power in 2025. They have blackballed Harvard and Yale and Columbia and UPenn. All the Ivy League universities have been basically shut down by the Department of Education unless they accept a pro-Israel curriculum in their Middle Eastern Studies departments, and unless they shut down all pro-Palestine organizations and protests. And they won't even admit people at Northwestern University unless they undergo some kind of pro-Israel re-education. That is what is happening under Republican rule at the Ivy League and other highly selective schools and universities. The State Department, Department of Homeland Security, they're reviewing 50,000 visas and visa holders looking at their social media. If you have ever criticized Israel, they're going to revoke your visa or maybe even denaturalize you as a citizen. So now residency and maybe even citizenship in the United States is contingent on whether you support Israel. Homeland Security says you cannot go to the World Cup this summer. Google it. You cannot buy a ticket and attend a World Cup match if on your social media you've been identified as an Israel critical activist. Okay? Our Department of War is out there in Iran, fighting the Houthis in Yemen. We gave Israel $12 billion in foreign aid last year alone. The State Department reviewed every country that receives foreign aid and put an injunction on it subject to that review except for Israel. Every other country got their foreign aid paused except for Israel. This is under the Trump government. So if you don't support Israel, you cannot have citizenship. You cannot have residency. You can't go to the World Cup. You can't attend Harvard or Northwestern. We're fighting Israel's wars. We're giving them foreign aid. Whereas
Nick is really butthurt about that World Cup shit, his rich ass.
every other country can't get it. We have a national security advisor that's lobbying on behalf of the Prime Minister of Israel. This is your Republican Party. And that's just a small sampling. There's tons of other examples. There's that Israeli minister who was caught in a sting trying to sexually abuse a minor that the FBI just let him go. Just let him go from Nevada.
Yep.
There are countless examples like this. That's your Republican Party. And that's the antithesis of America First. How anybody could support that is beyond me. You cannot hold your nose and vote for that. You can't overlook that. That's not one issue among others. Well, you know, they're good on some things and bad on other things. They're bad on what? We're going to be some kind of pro-Israel vassal state? Other than that, they're great on everything else. I'm sorry, that's a pretty big one. So once again, the message needs to be, if the Republican Party is not America First, Republicans shouldn't vote for Republicans. I'm going to vote for the party that is putting America first. If Democrats are going to disclose Israel's nuclear program, if they're going to end the war in Iran, if they're going to stop foreign aid or sending 2,000-pound bombs to Israel, force Israel into some kind of agreement with Hamas in Gaza, then I'm going to vote for the Democrats. Absolutely. People say, what about immigration? Honestly, what about immigration? You see anything about immigration these days, or is it all about Israel? When's the last time Trump posted something about immigration? All I see him is glazing Mark Levin and Laura Loomer and talking about blowing up Iran and annihilating Persian civilization. People say, what about immigration? Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Where are those mass deportations? I don't see them. Where is that border wall? It's still not built. And by the way, they're not going to build it. They're done with that. That's over. So there's just no more excuses anymore. I think that's over. So huge congratulations to the Democrats. See, this is what we need to see from Republicans. How hard is that? Where is the America First caucus in the GOP? There isn't. I think there's literally one. You got not Randy Fine. You've got Thomas Massie, and that's it. You got 20 Democrats, arguably in the House, that are going to stand up to Israel. You got one Republican. And AIPAC is spending upwards of $10 million, maybe $20 million to try to get rid of them. And Trump is working to make that happen, and so are many other Republicans. You got one. That's where we stand right now. So big ups to the Democrats for trying to thwart Israel. I'm telling you guys, this is the new wave. It is what it is. This is where we find ourselves. And you know what? If we weren't in a war with Iran, maybe this wouldn't be as big of a deal. Maybe this would be less urgent. But that is where we find ourselves. It's affecting everything. It's affecting Ivy Leagues. It's affecting affordability. Gas is $6 a gallon because of this war.
Yeah, we can't solve other problems.
We're constrained in Taiwan because of this war. Republicans are going to get slaughtered in the midterms because of this war. People said, you're obsessed with Israel. It's not really that big of a deal. No, it's the Republicans' obsession with Israel that is sabotaging everything. It is their fixation, their obsession,
Their addiction to the money.
their preoccupation with putting Israel first that is sabotaging every other issue, poisoning the well with everything in the country. Don't tell me that's not true. And even many Republicans agree. They're saying Trump is squandering the generational coalition he built, and in some sense, they're right. We could have been using this political capital for the mass deportations. If we're going to lose the midterms this badly, if Trump is going to have record low favorability,
Why didn't he do it
if
for
he's going to have record low
deportations?
approval, if we're going to do this, right? If we're going to blow ourselves up, because that's what we're doing, Trump is more unpopular than he's ever been, more unpopular than Biden, more unpopular than he was in his first term. We're blowing the midterms. That's just not even going to happen. He has squandered his support with the podcast bros, with Hispanics, with Generation Z, with America First foreign policy people, with Muslims, with Catholics. If we're going to do this, if we're going to become that unpopular, why would we not blow our political capital doing the deportations? I mean, is that a crazy thing to say? If Trump is committing political suicide for a war against Iran, why would we not commit political suicide to achieve mass deportations? Didn't they tell us we can't do mass deportations because it's too unpopular? We can't do mass deportations. It's too unpopular. We looked at the data. We're losing the voters. The podcast bros are turning against us. We're going to lose the midterms.
He's losing it
so
anyways. Why didn't he do it?
Mass deportations, and we can't do them. Well, I don't know if you know this, but the war in Iran is extremely unpopular, making us lose the midterms, killing our approval and favorability. So if we're going to do it anyway, why not blow it on an issue that actually matters? You see what Trump will do for Israel. Why can't he do that for us? It's wishful thinking. You are not in love with Trump. You're in love with what you want Trump to be. You see? People are saying, well, we need to vote for Trump because of immigration. We're not getting immigration. That's never going to happen.
That makes more
You know,
sense.
we're voting for Trump because even though he sold us out to Israel, we're getting immigration. You're not getting that. But you're not getting that, though. And then people make excuses. They say, well, we're not getting it because of this, that, and the other. It's like, did those excuses stop him from launching a war in Iran? No. So why do you accept those excuses for not getting deportations? You shouldn't. If he could blow it to topple Iran and not even get it, then why couldn't he blow it to get deportations?
Right.
It's because they don't care.
Yep.
So let's at least get Israel restrained. And then once that happens, maybe the GOP can be liberated and then maybe it can be a nationalist party. I don't know. But I just want to vote for something that I actually agree with. I'm getting nothing from them. So that's your America First Democratic Party. How can anybody that's against Israel even argue with that? They're literally driving us into World War III. They're wrecking the fucking economy. They're blowing it for Republicans. I mean, this war is ruining everything, and it might even end the world.
It's
and
destroying
Democrats are
us.
the only ones that are saying, you know, maybe it's time to acknowledge that Israel
Pump
has
the
the
brakes.
bombs.
Yeah, this could end up with
Let's-
like nuclear holocaust and everybody fucking dead. And they're flirting with this shit. Scumbags. Goddamn Jays.
See what the Trump administration says. Let's see what our America First Republicans have to say about that, because they do have to respond. But that's that. We're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. To me, it's just a no-brainer at this point. I don't even know how you argue with that. Unless you're some kind of Republican
He convinced me.
NPC. All right, but we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys...
For those of you guys like worried about like thinking, oh, I don't know about voting against Republicans. Bro, intelligent thinking people, when they get new data, they reevaluate their prior assumptions. When you get new data, you reevaluate your hypothesis and adjust it accordingly. We got new data.
Have to say. And just a reminder, we got banned from Entropy, Or I should say Entropy is out of business. They got shut down by the Jews.
Wow.
So no more Entropy. If you want to send a super chat, the only way to do it is through our website, which is af.plus/superchat, af.plus/superchat, or you can super chat on Rumble. But I prefer that you do it on our website. So check that out. af.plus/superchat. That's the way to go. Yeah, they're attacking my money. They're attacking my everything. They're attacking my soul. They're attacking my body, my heart, my mind. They're attacking my bag, my wallet. They're attacking my clips. They're attacking my niggas, my city. They're laying siege to my house. They're attacking me in every way. So you gotta help a nigga out. You gotta help a brother out. All right, but let's take a look. Let's see what we got here. We're all set up. My hair's a little messed up tonight. I'm not happy about that. I should have put something in it, but I didn't. All right, whatever. Oh, it's devastating. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Dude, the weight loss is just... What do you think? The weight loss journey, truly. All right. I really just have to stop every time. You know, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I didn't used to believe that, but now I totally do. I used to say, no, you have it reversed. Skinny does not feel as good as obese tastes. But, yeah, no, that's definitely not true. Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And as somebody that has made the journey, that is 100% true. I look back on my old life and I'm like, yeah, pizza was definitely not that good. It was good, but it wasn't that good. This is better. Being skinny is way better.
Algernon Sydney sent $20. Divorced Groiper. Take the $150K difference and spend it on private investigators and lawyers. Keep the kids and money.
Oh, you're giving advice to that other guy. Thanks.
Gang shit no lame shit sent $20. Can be unaffiliated knocking doors telling people to vote for action over Vivek. 1M doors has a huge impact and is free.
Yeah, we'll think about
Chubb
that.
Sanders 64 sent $50. Entropy ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah, true. Thank you.
Put 1 cent $25. Most of Chud the Builder's interactions are actually wholesome.
Really?
Don't judge a wank with motion by the clips.
Okay, well, I don't really watch his streams, so that's fair. Fair enough.
Palmer MC Goonan sent $25. In the 80s, Bill Buckley dedicated multiple issues of NR to endorsing Jewish Democrat Joe Lieberman. Take no shit from cons.
Well, and hey, remember when Ben Shapiro was a never Trumper? Ben Shapiro, yeah, let me just do this, okay? Clip this, clip this, clip this. So Ben Shapiro called me out today. He said that the far right is actually the far left. Nick Fuentes is voting for Democrats. Do not let Ben Shapiro tell you that. In 2016, Ben Shapiro was a never Trumper. You know what that means? Ben Shapiro was perfectly willing to let Donald Trump lose and Hillary Clinton become president of the United States. Why? Because he did not believe that Trump was sufficiently pro-Israel. So the next time one of these Republican analysts says, you can't vote Democrat, you can't stay home, you have to vote Republican, do not forget that almost to a man, all of the conservative pundits, intellectuals, the same ones that are pro-Trump now, they were never Trumpers in 2016. They were perfectly willing to let Hillary Clinton become the president of the United States, and they were fine with that. They preferred that. They thought it would be better. They were all like that. Ben Shapiro intentionally tried to make Trump lose the election. He would have had Hillary Clinton sweep the White House, House, and Senate. And now he tells us 10 years later, oh, you can never vote Democrat? Don't even listen to these people. They play both sides every single time when it concerns Israel. Don't let them tell you you can't play both sides when it concerns America. That's 100% true. So anyway. Yeah, now Shapiro's going to call me out. Oh, Nick Fuentes is a Democrat. He finally admits it. I'm sorry, you wanted Clinton for president because Trump said he would deal with Israel and Palestine fairly. Don't even get me started on that.
Fuck Vivek 2026 sent $20. Texas governor election. Abbott is not Indian, but he was the Adelson's puppet. Texas is cooked already, so vote out the chud.
Yeah, totally. Vote him out. Abbott's terrible.
Asaf H. Abramovich sent $20. So we don't care that Fishback credited Bari Weiss with launching his national profile?
No, because he's explained that 100 times. I love when people say so. No. Don't so me. Don't so me. I love when you bury the premise in the so we don't care. Nobody said we don't care. I investigated that for months. I didn't endorse him for months because of that. He got asked about it and he answered it. So you either didn't hear the answer or you don't care. Either way, fuck you.
Ah, nice.
I love that. So we're just going to not care? Everybody knows that now. He got asked about it 100 times, and in my opinion, he gave a satisfying answer. It's not that nobody cares, dumbass.
Carlotto P. Appreciator sent $20. Crowder addressed you today in a 15-plus minute monologue and said that you're welcome on the show.
I'm going on his show on Friday.
What?
We're going to talk about it.
No.
You know, I like Crowder.
Bro,
I do, and I
that
think
is
he's an honest
awesome
guy,
news.
And I appreciate that he's going to give me
Fuck
the
yeah.
opportunity to engage with him on the subject. But
dope. So dope.
And I hope he doesn't take this personally. In my opinion, I think he's a little bit caught up in partisanship.
Yeah, he is.
Because I said, I'm a non-woke moderate Democrat. I'm an Afro-Latino. Now, obviously, I am voting Democrat. But I said that in a joking way. Like, obviously, the premise is funny. The premise is that the most far-right person is going to call themselves a moderate Democrat. That's funny. Saying Nick Fuentes is a moderate Latino Democrat, like saying it in that way, it's a comedic premise. Of course I'm voting Democrat, though. And he says, oh, really? You're a moderate Democrat? Well, there are no moderate Democrats, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, listen, man, listen. I've explained it many times. If the situation, and let me put it, well, I don't want to spoil the show, but I will just say this. If the situation were as follows, let's say we're in a presidential election year, and it's really competitive with the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Would I want the Democrats to have a clean sweep? Absolutely not.
Yeah, me neither.
And if that were the case, I would absolutely not be a Democrat at all. Honest to God. Because if the Democrats have a unified government, then we're fucked. And I totally get that, okay? But that's not the situation. The situation in 2026 is that most likely Republicans keep the Senate. And even if they don't, it's going to be close. And we're going to have the White House for 2 more years. And we have 6, maybe 7 seats on the Supreme Court, right? Who are the liberal? I guess you only have 5 or 6, I should say, right? You got Sotomayor, Ketanji Jackson, and do you still have Breyer, or did he retire? So you got 5, sometimes 6 seats on the Supreme Court. That's pretty good. And so I'm comfortable with us losing the House, and I'm comfortable with us losing some other choice races because there's checks and balances. So that's what I'm comfortable with. When he says, there are no moderate Democrats, like, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. And like I said, I don't really support the aspirations of the Democratic Party. I'm not liberal. I'm not progressive. I'm not leftist. And I don't even know that I would call myself like a lifelong Democrat or something like that. I'm saying I'm voting Democrat in this election as a protest vote. See, you got to understand, it's a very narrow, I'm saying a very narrow thing. When I say I'm a moderate Democrat, like clearly I'm being funny when I say it that way. He's reading it as this very broad thing. Like, I identify as a Democrat. I'm totally on board. Like, I'm pro. No. Like, I don't even support the Democrat agenda at all. I've said it repeatedly. I am voting this way in this election under these circumstances for this reason. And again, if the circumstances were different, it'd be a different story. Why do I want the Democrats to take the House? Because they will use their oversight powers to slow down the Trump government. And I think that is good because the Trump government is doing some very bad things. They're prosecuting this war. They buried the Epstein files. And by the way, they're not even doing that good of a job on immigration. And they're stealing. And if you're a conservative, you should have a problem with this too. The Trump government is extremely corrupt. There's a lot of embezzlement, insider trading. There's a lot of shady stuff going on. So, yeah, I do want the Democrats to get in and slow that down, investigate the corruption, And I want them to materially hurt the cabinet members that are going to run for office in 28, because I think being a part of this regime is disqualifying. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to vote Republican in 28. They're going to need to win me back. But like for right now, this is the move. So I saw his thing and he's like, oh, you say you're a Democrat. Well, there are no moderate Democrats and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, maybe he just doesn't watch the whole show, which is understandable. Maybe he just saw the clip. But I think he's kind of missing the point a little bit, and that's okay. But yeah, it's just like he hears the word Democrat, and he's like, that's the part that he's always hung up on. Even like with Tulsi Gabbard, I'm like, maybe we need to work on winning over these moderate liberal types. And he's like, which like elected Democrat are you talking about? I'm like, bro, like not really the point. So, but I like Crowder. I know it's going to be a respectful conversation. We're going to be honest with each other, and it's going to be a good debate, I think, regardless.
Northern Cowboy sent $20. Women for sure. They're like a union. Travis Bickle.
So, dude, literally me, bro. You're just like the rest of them, dude. He's the GOAT. Yeah. He's why is he literally me? Why is that literally my life? You know? It's literally my life. Travis Bickle I watched that movie and I'm like, dude, he's literally me. What does he do? He drives around all the time at night, eats junk food, does pull-ups sometimes, totally alone, no friends, watches TV, interested in politics, but in like kind of a crazy way. Like he's kind of insane. He's just like wants to burn it all down. He's just like mad. He's just like taking out his societal dislocation on the political system. So yeah, there's like, yeah, we're very similar. Not in the way that we're trying to save prostitutes or like kill politicians, but the other stuff for sure.
Sherry Zero S sent $50.
So,
Casey
yeah.
Putch got friend-zoned and told, you're not him. Chud Seeth hardest at reflections of their own lived experience. Casey, you're a nice guy, but...
He's not even, dude. He's a douchebag. He's a douchebag and an idiot, and he sucked, and I'm right about that. And if people don't get that, you just don't understand politics. People are giving me a hard time. Why are you calling him out? Blah, blah. It's like, shut up. You just don't know anything about politics. I'm so sick of like NPCs trying to like talk shit.
Broiper88 sent $25. I wonder if you could start the show at 7 o'clock. That's prime time.
Yeah, we're going to do that at some point this year. We're going to get into a new studio and then we're going to start, yeah, maybe at like 7 o'clock. I promise.
Groiper Gosling sent $20. Hey, Nick, will you be attending Jimbo Pack 2026? Would like to see you patch things up with Mr. Matokor before he dies of cancer.
Oh, yeah. Remember Mr. Medicare? Is he still alive? What even happened to him? Did he die? I thought he was supposed to like die of cancer or something.
Kevod sent $21. What are your enduring memories of the old AF Discord? Did you remain loyal to Joe the Boomer? Stay beautiful. Beautiful.
Is that Kevin? Is that really Kevin? Is that really you? No way. The old AF Discord, honestly, it's only pain. It's only bad memories. All these like autists. I just got a DM during the show, but hey, it's a DM that I'm not mad to get. Hey, what's up? Enduring memories of the old AF. I will get to that in a moment, I promise. The old AF Discord. I remember Joe the Boomer made an impression on me. Yeah, a lot of dark memories though, I can't lie. A lot of people I'm still friends with to this day though, but yeah, a lot of weird people. So
Detroit Groipus sent $100. You're right. It's impossible to red pill your early Gen X parents. The one point I need them to understand though is that their main news source CBS is compromised and pushing a narrative. They call my media consumption, conspiratorial, yet they're getting it straight from the horse's mouth.
Are we doing this again? Thank you for the big super chat. I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear
Lawrence
that.
of Dearborn sent $50.
It doesn't affect
Shares have
me.
been fire lately. Thanks.
Really? Thanks. You think so? I don't know. I feel like I got my mojo back a little bit. You know, sometimes you got to be reminded of who you are. So yeah, I feel like I got my mojo back. I was kind of in my blue period. I was a little down in the dumps, but I dug deep and I returned to my roots and I leaned on my friends. Some of my friends were complete fucking assholes, but some of them were really there for me, and I'm not going to name any names. But yeah, some friends will just hang out with you in Italy for a week and take you to the spa and eat pasta with you and do cool shit and drive around in a Fiat. And other people will be super inconsiderate and blow you off and treat you like complete shit. And if you died on the street, they'd walk right over you. They don't even care. It doesn't even matter that much. I don't even care. Anyway, what was the question? The shows have been fire. Thanks. Yeah, I'm a work in progress.
Feminify sent $100.
Hey, thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. No message. Beautiful.
Master
Love
Bieber
it.
sent $20. Older brother's gay, married, considering adoption. We've argued nonstop. What would your argument be against gay adoption?
You're depriving a child of their mother. That's my issue. I mean, I guess that's not as bad as surrogacy. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as surrogacy. My argument against gay adoption, the other thing is it's immoral. You're bringing a child into an immoral household. It's not good. It's not good. A child should not have to live and see that normalized and, you know, there's something like scandalous about that. You're scandalizing the child. You know, it would be like a polycule. It'd be, you know, where does it end? We're going to bring a child into a polycule where everybody's having sex with each other, or I don't know, some other kind of like immoral arrangement. So yeah, I think it's like corrosive to a child's soul to be brought up in that environment. It's not right.
Yeshua needs every yid sent $20. So what is it total chud def now?
It'd be like a tranny adopting a kid. You know, it's like, should a child really grow up with like a transgender parent? No.
Yeshua needs every yid sent $20. So what is it total chud def now?
I don't know if it's total chud death. You know, I don't want the chuds to die, but the chuds just need to, like, I don't know, like, relax.
Feminify sent $1,000.
Yo!
My payment on the foundation site wouldn't process for some reason. Works here, so I'm not sure what I should do.
I don't know. Send an email to us, okay? I appreciate the huge super chat. But I can't resolve your technical issue on the show right now. You know, that it's just one of those things. I'm not going to be able to resolve this technical problem with our website while I'm on a live stream. That's just it's not possible. But I do appreciate the huge super chat. Thank you so much for the support. I'm going to try not to be like bothered by the premise of the question, because your heart's in the right place. You're trying to support the show. You're supporting the show. But like, please just send us an email and we will respond to you, okay? Send me an email. I do really appreciate the support. And get in touch with us and we will help you. I can't fix the website in this moment though, okay? But I appreciate the huge super chat. 07's in the chat.
John Blackwell
God bless.
sent $200.
Hey, thanks for the big super chat.
Jack H sent $20. Really
it.
appreciate what you do. Keep it up. Wang for life.
Fuck yeah. Wang half white ass niggas going hard as fuck for life.
Groiper Forever sent $100.
Yeah.
Your soliloquy on voting against Vivek was simply amazing.
Thanks.
You are the best political mind of my lifetime. Thank you for making such a wonderful speech. I am voting Dem in Ohio for the first time in my life because of you. Also contacted local Catholic church and am converting. Blessings to you.
Thank you for the big super chat. I will send the army. Walaikum wassalam. What do they say? Walaikum salam. I will send the army. I will send the Democrats. Yeah, Pakistan's revenge, bitch. Fuck India. Pakistan's revenge. I will send the army. The Pakistanis will descend upon Ohio one last time. Fatwa. Fatwa against India. So true. Thank you for... I'm glad you like the monologue and everything. And I'm glad to hear you're voting Democrat. We are sending the army. I am Rome. I will send the army. I am Pakistan. I will send the army.
Unimportant sent $50. Tucker interviews Nicola founder about fraud, then Candace about trans. Dick Carlson's big story exposed motor company founder for same fraud and as trans. Trump pardons Nicola guy 3 days after Dick's dies. Fun.
I'm not following any of that. What's that? Motor company founder, fraud, trans. Nicola Guy, Dick, I don't know what any of that is.
Torpnoff sent $20. Hello, Nick. Should I start writing, or should I continue to work my way up the political ladder and hide my power level?
Are you a good writer? I don't know. I can't make these decisions for you because I don't know you, okay? I don't know you. Should I start writing? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. Like writing what? Lists of people to kill? Like what does that mean? Writing what? Books? I don't know what that means. How old are you? If you're not already writing, I don't know. Do something you're already doing. I don't know. That you should just go somewhere else. This is causing me too many problems. Like, it's just not like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Should I continue to work my way up the ladder? What does that mean? Where are you? Start writing what? I don't know. Fuck you, dude. Like, you're an idiot.
TB code is sent $200. Fist emoji.
Yo, thank you for the huge super chat. Fist bump to the 9-year-old army. Bro fist. Thank you for the big super chat, bro fist. To the Groiper army. We remember that? That's a throwback.
Big Dinky Bones sent $80. W super chat segment last night. Especially the Portillo's take. So raped now.
True.
You ever have a rainbow cone after a bone of beef?
You know, I never got the rainbow cone. Not for any reason. I just never had it before. So no. I usually, what do I usually get? I go to Andy's. That's my spot. I go to Andy's. And I get the James Brownie. I get the James Brownie Funky Jackhammer, well blended with extra brownies. That's my order. If you want to, it's like my Mint Majesty with 2 honeys. So if you go to Andy's, get the Nick Fuentes. Tell him I need a James Brownie Funky Jackhammer with extra brownies, and can I get that well blended? Some of them hate me there. Some of them like me. The problem is they know me, so it's like, here we go again, you know. But I don't go there anymore because I'm never hungry. You know, I just stopped eating. But yeah, that's usually the move. Bone of beef, and then I do a little Andy's, or I'll do, what else? Yeah, that's usually the move.
Funny Monkey Gaming 31 sent $20. Your top 3 games are Fort, Code E, and Call of War. You also love Euphoria. What did you have for dinner? Unseasoned chicken?
I don't, you're like critiquing my TV habits. I love when people do that. Yeah, you have terrible taste in video games. It's like, so your identity is about what goy slop you consume? I only play the finest video games. It's like, brother, kill yourself. It's video games, bro. It's pixels on a screen. On a screen, you fucking dumbass. Like, get a life. I saw that. Somebody said, his media takes are atrocious. You identify with, like, what pixels you watch, you fucking faggot. His takes on television and movies are terrible. I like only the good movies. Fuck you. What do you go to Comic-Con? What do you wear a fucking costume, you fucking faggot? Get a life. What do you like, unseasoned chicken? Sorry, what do you play? Death Stranding or whatever? You play that video game where they have like a fucking baby and they're carrying around a baby in a suitcase? So sorry. Whoa, what do you play? Dark Souls? Whoa, sorry. Faggot, kill yourself.
Dr. Base sent $50. Turned 27 today. Do I start looking at retirement homes or jump straight to casket shopping? Love the show. Replay gang.
That was really bad.
Pat Fussy sent $50. Much love from Cleveland.
W. Cleveland. How great is our police? And how great is Cleveland? Remember when Trump said that at the convention?
Diversity stole my bike, sent awesome. $555.
Yo, thank you for the huge super chat. Yo, I appreciate the huge super chat. 07's in the chat. Thank you very much for the support. Coming in clutch, guys. Entropy's under attack. I really appreciate you guys helping me out.
Buckeye Grow Hyper 69420 sent $50. Shampoo reveal. Hair is looking fire. Springfield,
Thanks.
Ohio resident here. Me and my niggas are voting blue to cuck the GOP in November. Also, Amy Action can look he get her Amy Cheeks claption. IYKYK.
Amy Cheeks clash. That's crazy. I just use the Tresemme 2-in-1. You know, the black thing. Tresemme 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. That's what I
Michigan
use.
Mama sent $50. Whenever I'm feeling down and life feels a bit heavy, I just watch Marla get launched into orbit like a 2-bit hoe. Puts a little pep in my step.
I can't comment on that. It's once again a legal matter. But I'm glad it brings you some joy. I'm glad somebody's getting some joy out of that. Somebody
Casual
else
Groy
besides me. I mean,
Casual Groy paid 88
other
cent $20.
people.
Sneeko deported from Australia. OHH
Well,
now.
he didn't get deported. He left. But then I guess he got banned. That sucks. The GOAT, Goat Co. When are me and Sneeko gonna fucking hook up again, man? When I mean link up. Pause. When are me and Sneeko? When are we gonna hang out again? I miss my nigga. Man, I really miss my nigga. Where's my nigga? Sneak Goat. We gotta bring it back. We gotta run it back. We need another collab. We need another collab for 26. Collaboration loading. Collaboration loading. We got to bring the band back together. Too much division. Too much division. These Republicuck Zio chills are bringing us all down. They're trying to divide us. We all need to come together. No more brother wars. Tucker, Candace, Megyn Kelly, absolved. All is forgiven. There's no beef anymore. There is no beef. It's like Marcellus Wallace and Bruce Willis. It's like, look, it's over. There's no more beef, no more brother wars. Megyn Kelly, Candace, you are not my op. Tucker, you are not my op. Sneeko, we have to unite. We have to unite the Goyim.
Veronica sent $50. I love you, Nick Fuentes. Pink heart emoji.
Thanks. It's nice to
Laura
hear. I
DB sent
appreciate
$20.
that.
What's up, Nick?
What up? What up, nigga?
MXTN 10 sent $20. Did you see the Dugan crash out?
Yeah, dude, fuck that Slav monkey. Shut up, you're short.
Saint Saxon sent
We hate
$25.
you.
Did you see Tom Homan say, you ain't seen shit yet, this year will be a good year. Mass deportations are coming.
Dude, the Goyim fall for it every time. It's insane. Like, it's actually insane. Goyim are idiots, man. They'll fall for anything. You tell them, like, hey, we're going to do mass deportations tomorrow. Really? Yeah, really, bro.
Diddy Sprinkles sent
Just vote for us one
Diddy
more
Sprinkles
time.
sent $100. No message.
Yo, thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it. No message. You know, you're the GOAT for that.
Hussein Hill, the narrative assassin, sent $20. You can't be an honest and genuine person. However, I will root for you from afar. I'm leaving the Groy Perpont. Honesty and sincerity don't seem to spawn here. Still rooting for you all from here.
Okay, bye.
Lebanese Maronite, Lebanon emoji, sent $20. Does knowing too much about this world eventually become a burden? Is ignorance truly bliss? God bless. Palms up together emoji.
Yeah.
Heisentard sent $50.
Yeah.
Well, the south side of Chicago is the baddest part of town, and if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Engine Joe.
Engine Joe. Yeah, very true. He was more like in the west side.
Nigga
though.
Joe.
He was more like in the north side and the west side. Yeah, Engine Joe. He was a bad man. Engine Joe was a bad man, but yeah. Yeah, but it's all good now. I got some of the maniac genes. That's a big reason why I don't drink or do drugs, because I would just be a raging maniac. Because I have a very short fuse, bad temper. Could you imagine me if I drank alcohol? So, yeah, we gotta relax. The goat of beating the shit out of people. Kind
The White
of
Rican
epic.
sent-
Well, not really.
The White
though.
Rican sent $30. Oatmeal money.
Thanks for the oatmeal money.
Anthony
Yeah,
Yannis-
a little group chat. I love when people do the inside group chat jokes. It's awesome.
Anthony Yanni
It's
sent $20.
amazing. Hey, I'm part of the thing.
Anthony Yanni sent $20. Boomers won. Time to stop being lazy and poor. Vivek W.
True. That's absolutely right.
Lowe's have sent $20. So Im Kindoff wondering how the WEF and the globalists fit into the more Jewish control, like Israel. The issue is that sometimes they are in conflict,
Okay,
like
I'm
WEF is
gonna-
anti-Israel. Maybe it is just a show.
Okay.
Joseph Camel Groyer sent
Shut
$20. So it must be at least 7 months plus old. Looks like shoulder pads for Aaron Hernandez.
Well, I don't know who Aaron Hernandez is. That's just over my head. The suit is 7 months old. I think I got this 3 months ago. What did the suit age? I don't know what that means.
Saint Saxon sent $20. My bad.
People just saying
Saint Saxon
stupidest
sent
shit
$20.
ever of all
My
time.
bad. You mentioned the Tom Hammond thing during the show. Here's an extra 20 shekels as reconciliation.
Thanks.
Art on Delay 5 sent $20. What's your opinion on California governor race?
No
The Vanilla
opinion.
Villain sent $25. Trust Sessions. Base Sweet sent
I don't know what that
$20.
means.
Crowder did a 20-minute segment on you being a Democrat and invited you to the show. Collab when? P.S. Rape Gerald.
Friday.
Foy Annihilator sent
Friday
$20.
morning.
Nicholas, I'm just starting thinking. Been having troubles. Any help with some beginner level thoughts to get started? Some nigga sent $20. Democrat in 26, it's gonna feel good to win. Any thoughts on Minnesota governor election? Show's been on fire since the return.
Nope.
Chatter
No
sent
thoughts on
$100. Even if the Trump administration capitulates to the Iranian 14-point peace proposal, or any sort of peace proposal with Iran, Israel will just end up breaking the ceasefire anyway and the US goes back to square one. Netanyahu, liquid, they need this war to continue. Thanks for the show.
Wow. Hot take alert. Thank you for the big super chat. Thanks for breaking it down for us. Thank you for breaking it all down. That was super helpful.
AF Burger King sent $20. You are a proud inhabitant of my Tomodachi Life Island. You and I are great friends already. Hope you don't mind. Johnny sent $20. Do a podcast with Thomas. PF has huge respect for you. Most of the right never sees the real Patriot Front due to media. AF.
Yeah, the real dude, their strategy is terrible. I'm not promoting that at all. I don't support what they're doing. I'm not promoting that. That is idiotic. If you watch what has happened over the past 5 years and you think we need another like militia, you're an idiot.
Layap guy sent $20. No. These numbskulls here, I'm a Democrat in 26 and take it literally. So retarded. It's about acting in a way that might lead to victory.
Okay, I explained it already.
Yappenheimer sent $20. My fave part of the show is the vocab mogging you do, but you really outdid yourself pulling non-Euclidean mid-monologue.
You like that one?
Tokyo Blender sent $100. Let's lighten the mood. Winnetka, Los Angeles was named after Chicagoland's Winnetka.
Really?
Thanks to a humble Midwestern chicken farmer hired by LA in 1920 to bring cheap egg farming west. Shout out to my wag egg farmers in the Big W.
Thanks for the big super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, interesting. I never knew that. I never been to Winnetka in LA, I don't think. But I've been to Winnetka up here. Very nice. Very nice. Love the north side.
Exposed Seaside Yos sent $20. Jay Zidman WH liaison to Jewish community for 43. Found Maverick Pack. See the Zios they back. Wild. Vacation home in Seaside.
Interesting.
A.O.C.Spanish.latte sent $22. You wake up as the Pope tomorrow. What's the first order you give to the church?
I don't know, bro.
Oh, be based. Be based. What's all be based? Everyone has to wear a veil in church now. All the women have to wear veils, and we should all go to twat, wat, and mass, and we should all be based all the time.
Top G Roy % $50.
That's what I would
I've seen a lot of people talking about other countries switching to buying U.S. oil since the Strait closure. Could this be a positive side effect of the war?
No, it's kind of complicated.
Impractical Groy % $25. Getting real sick of hearing opinions from all these invalids. If you're first generation American or have an accent, just STFU.
Whoa, hot take.
The prison sent $20.
Gosh.
Hello, Nick. We should hang out sometime.
Sure.
David Eats sent $44. Dipped via Rumble Wallet.
Yo, thanks.
David Eats sent $20. Have you heard of W Power Naps? Postman new dog whistle.
No, I haven't. Postman. I like Postman. I like Postman a lot, but the guy has clearly never been through like the whole thought war incel thing, because it's like I like 9 out of 10 Postman TikToks, and then he does a TikTok where he's like, don't let anybody tell you not to get married, like women are mythical creatures, and you're like, goodness gracious, like. But hey, we love Postman. It's okay, but it's totally fine.
Denzel Abbas sent $50. Sup, goat. I die for my goat. Name every country completely landlocked by one other country. Love you, goat.
Oh, that's got to be, is it Lesotho or Swaziland? It's one of them is on the border with Mozambique, I think. And the other one is totally within South Africa. I think it's Swaziland that's completely inside of South Africa. Am I right? But it's also like Vatican City, and there's got to be a few, right? Completely landlocked by another country. Yeah, that's got to be a few, right? Vatican City for sure. And yeah, and I think it's, oh no, it's Lesotho, not Eswatini. Okay, so I was wrong. But I knew it was one of them. I knew the other one board. I just get them mixed up. And yeah, and then it's got to be Vatican City, no? Because I mean, the Vatican's landlocked. So, but bang, there you go. Name. Oh, you said every country. It's not just one. Oh, okay. So there's multiple. Okay. So it's Vatican. It's. Am I saying it right? Lesotho. What are the other ones? Completely landlocked by another country. Let's see. By one country. So it'd have to be like totally within It's not Andorra, not Monaco, not San Marino. Or San Marino landlocked? I don't know if it's coastal or not. Not Liechtenstein, because it's between borders. Other countries totally landlocked. Let's think. Now let's really think here. Is Brunei? No, Brunei's coastal. Singapore's coastal. Let's see. Yeah, it would have to be just those two, right? Those would have to be the only two. Unless I'm missing something. But I don't think I am. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Completely landlocked by, they would have to be totally within. Yeah, so it's got to be just those two. Yep. Yeah. There it is. Bang. There you go. Yeah, I think that's it. Eswatini? No, because Eswatini borders Mozambique, so it's landlocked by both South Africa and Mozambique.
Imgroiping off sent $20. What's your take on Kevin O'Leary's 40,000-acre data center that just got approved in northern Utah?
I didn't really read anything about that.
Bob Roy per pants sent $25. It's actually really simple. You have two choices in 2026. You can either vote Democrat or get back in the cuck chair.
Well,
2026, we need to mog the zog no matter what.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time, okay? No, that's a joke. That's a joke. No, I'm kidding. Being a cuck is in. Haven't you been watching Chad Champion? Haven't you been listening to Cuck by Ye? Don't frame it that way. Don't frame it that way. You can either vote Democrat or get in the cuck share. It's a tough one. Joking, of course. That's just a joke. Look, your girl is going. So maybe there's something ascended there. But no, yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. We have to vote Democrat. No cuck share. Mog the Zog, get in the Democrat share.
Nelson Perez sent $20. Have you tried McDonald's in Australia? I hear they feed their cows grass instead of grain and the meat tastes better.
I'm sure that's the biggest load of bullshit of all time. You think you can taste what the cows were eating, you fucking idiot?
Damn.
I hear they feed their cows real stuff.
Shut up.
That's how much he knows
what
about
the cows
nature.
are eating too many seed oils here. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, we could taste what the cows were eating. You got to be the dumbest idiot of all time to really believe that. I could taste the grass the cows were eating. Dude, shut up and eat your fucking Big Mac.
Kara sent $20. Amazing show tonight. Love when you go Max.
Go Max! We like Candace.
George Floyd did 9/11 sent $20.
Max.
Good evening, Mr. Fuentes. I am an online poker MTT professional player. If you need any coaching, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Well, I don't play poker, but thank
Based
you.
Faith TV sent $50.
Thank you, I appreciate
we disavow
it.
you. We don't want you in our party. Wait a minute. Why are you leaving our party?
Yeah, right? They literally disavow me every day.
New Alt-Right sent $20. We're all going mixing.
Yeah.
First Focky username sent $20. Love the show, man. You are the GOAT. I'm still of the opinion that if voting made a difference, it would be made illegal immediately. Your geopolitics, though, at the best in the game.
Okay, well then, whatever.
A-Maiden sent $25. Crowder is seating so hard controlled opposition to the fullest extent it seems. I've never even met Trump but support him.
No, he's like Alex Jones. He's just like a true believer in the GOP or whatever. Like, I don't think he's controlled opposition. I think he's just a true believer. And that's okay.
He's like the Democrats that were true believers with Biden.
Sent $25. Clav's in love with a mugshot.
Is that true, bro? Come on, Clav. Please help me help you. Is that true? Please don't let that be true.
Basement Dweller sent $20. Called it on Trump and Iran. Now Shapiro's critical blow. I'm starting to think that Zog HQ is forming a
food that an animal eats absolutely affects
Kaiser Sase 1 sent $50. LARP as a commie.
That's a fact.
Accelerate revolution. Stage a coup against the GOP. Overthrow the current government. Declare yourself supreme leader of America. Enforce NS policies.
Okay.
Upgrade.
Yeah, then what? Then what? Snack time? Then what? Nap time? Coloring books? You fucking dumbass.
Upgrade set $100. Nick, you killed it tonight. We are all now America First Democrats.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, I did it. I won. Now everyone's a Democrat. I sealed the deal. Thank
Supreme
you.
Wally sent $140. Greater than underscore less than 3.
Okay, disavow the name. Thank you for the big super chat.
Dope Groper sent
Appreciate
$20.
it.
Goyim are not real people. The NPC Goyim are not worth debating.
True.
Jews were right. Fuck M. Netanyahu, if you can hear me.
Okay, thanks.
Maxwell St. Polish Chud sent $20. Having to explain yourself and dumb it down kind of pointless. You go nigga, just lead charge. Can't hold every sub 80 IQ hand. Buffalo Bat sent $20. White ass niggas going dem as fuck. New Alt-Right sent $20. I am Catholic and live in a town of 1,200 people in the Midwest. I have not gone back to church because our priest is from African Americania and I can't understand him. The closest church has an Indian priest. BB Shapiro-Stein sent $20. Have you seen the clip on X of Jake Shields and some military bro Dane Chisholm saying AF needs new muscular Christian leadership, and how you're not that guy? They want to hijack your movement.
Good luck.
Vortex Groy sent $100.
I love that.
Yo, thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate it.
Kanye West Telegram sent $100. Love you, Nick. Thanks for the telegram.
Hey, thanks for the big super chat. What was the telegram? Did I forward something? I don't know what you mean, but
The
I
White Regan
appreciate
sent
it.
$100.
Yo, thanks for the big super
Joan
chat.
Yard 712 sent $150.
Yo, thanks for another no message. That's so clutch, guys. Thank you so much.
The White Regan sent $100. W Hop W Greg W Mr. White. Thanks for the show.
Hey, thanks for enough,
Just
dude.
give me
W
money,
White
assholes.
Rican helping
No
a nigga
comment.
out. Appreciate
Netanyahu
it.
sent $20. InfoWars will be missed. Yay, whipping out the Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Iconic moment. Very few people can leave Alex speechless.
Yeah, he out Alex Jones to Alex Jones, the GOAT. The GOAT! We just need him to hit the yay
Every
button
human
again.
contributes
We gotta
their
get him
one
to hit
thing,
the yay button. Where'd he go?
including H.
Oh, my GOAT. All right, that's our last super chat. That's going to do it for me tonight. Yeesh, some of these super chats really suck tonight, but I tried to hold it together for you, even though I'm really hungry. All right, well, that's our last
him
super
holding it
chat. That's
together
gonna do
for
it.
us, guys.
Excuse me, for me. Burp. Remember to smash the follow button, smash the like button, leave a comment. I'm on the air Monday through Friday. Thank you to our top super chatters. Huge special thank you to...
Yep, special thank you to you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you all enjoyed the crash out. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. See you slobs in the next one. Enjoy your slopulism.